I got pee. All right, so we can praise, esteem, and honor the Abba and Shamayim in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach this day. John chapter 5, verse 39. Search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life. And there they which testify of me. And you will not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you, that you have not the love of Elohim in you. I come in my Abba's name, and you receive me not. If another shall come in his own name, him you will receive. How can you believe which receive honor one from another, and not the honor that comes from Elohim only? Do not think that I will accuse you to Abba. There is one that accused you, even Moses, to whom you trust. Had you believed Moses, you would have believed me, for he wrote of me. But if you believe not his writings, how should you believe my words? All esteem and praise the Abba and Shamayim in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. Let's go ahead and pick this up in Psalms 88 and 1. And dear man, that nigga, that's something else, boy. That nigga, that's something else, man.
Say, O Yahuwah Elohim of my salvation, I have cried day and night before you. Let my prayer come before you, incline your ear unto my cry. For my soul is full of troubles, and my life draw near unto the grave. I'm counted with them that go down into the pit. I am as a man, no strength. Free among the dead, like the slain that lie in the grave.
Free among the dead,
whom you remember no more, and they are cut off from your hand. You have laid me in the lowest pit, and darkness in the deeps. Your wrath lie hard upon me, and you have afflicted with all your waves. Selah. You have put my acquaintance far from me. You have made me an abomination unto them. Shut up, and I cannot come forth. My eye mourn by reason of affliction, Yahuwah. I have called daily upon you. I have stretched out my hand unto you. Will you show wonders to the dead? Shall the dead arise and praise you? Selah. Shall your loving kindness be declared in the grave? Your faithfulness in destruction?
Faithfulness in destruction, baby.
Shall your wonders be known in the dark?
In the dark.
And your righteousness in the land of forgetfulness?
In the land of forgetfulness. Come over here to Psalm 45 and 1. My heart is inditing a good matter. I speak of things which I've made touching the king. My tongue the pen of a ready writer. You are fairer than the sons of Adam. Grace is poured into your lips. Therefore, Elohim have baruched you forever. Gird your sword upon thigh, Almighty, with esteem in your majesty. And in your majesty ride prosperously because of truth, meekness, righteousness. In your right hand shall teach terrible things. Now we're going to deal with what I'm dealing with, man. But see, Derek was in there, and some of y'all was in there. See, that's the stuff I be talking about right there. Like niggas like that nigga was in there earlier. Nah, man, that I'm only mentioning because that is evidence of what I be talking about. When you read, I think that's in Philippians 3, where he say some people preach Mashiach out of strife and some out of goodwill. See, that's what that person was doing. See, what I noticed with on this particular app, man, with a lot of people in the word, a lot of niggas be doing some real sucker stuff. Like, I'm talking about not just on some word tip, just like as a man. And nobody don't be calling these dudes on that. And then they think it's something wrong with you because I'm like, hey, bro, I know what you're doing. Like, I know what you're doing, bro. And that junk ain't cool. You know what I'm talking about? This man coming around here talking about, you ain't talking about Jesus. Well, if you talking about the words, you're doing that, cuz. If you're doing it properly. You know what I'm saying? But I'm mentioning this here because this man said I had to say one of the dumbest things I ever heard. Shalom, Jay. This man said a covenant is not an agreement because Jesus is the covenant. And when has Jesus ever been an agreement? When covenant literally means a treaty and a pledge between two parties. You literally enter into a covenant. Because this is where he pissed me off. I'm going to mention this. This is what really pissed me off. And I'm telling you this because you probably going to have or will encounter people who do this. And I'm going to ask you the same question he asked me. And I want to hear what y'all got to say. This man say, if you say you live in the spirit, what does that look like? No. He wants you to personalize it. What does that look like? Because somebody read him that. And he said, nah, what does that look like? Now, it's relevant, the question that I'm asking, based off of the continuation of where we stopped at. But what does that look like? Get Galatians 5 from me, sir. Start at verse 13. Matter of fact, read me verse 1. You drop down to verse 13.
When you say a person that has long suffering and mercy, can a person still say, what does that look like?
Yeah. Because when somebody's saying what that looked like, now he was being something else. But when you say that, you just can tell somebody that. You have to give them tangibly, what does that look like? How can I take that and execute that myself? You know what I'm saying? Now, this nigga didn't want to hear that. Now, I'm going to get to what he said if you didn't hear what he said. I think Darius was in there when he heard what he said. You know what I'm saying? But that nigga got mad because I checked him on that. Because it's a lot of niggas do what he did, and that junk grinds my gears. Because that's some real buster stuff. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't gonna lie, Man Baby said it properly. Niggas act like, oh, you get the word and God just do everything. But we know that's not the case. One of the fruits of the Spirit is literally what? Self-control. So that means that's something that you have to do. He is not doing that for you. See, I believe that what that comes in at is the Christian theos or ethos or whatever you want to call it, of the thought process of you can't do nothing, God do everything. You know what I'm saying? And that is not the case. Yeah, he was tripping. He said he called the tail end. That's right. If you don't, and that's what I told D. If you don't know no word, that nigga sounds good. You know what I'm saying? When you know some word, you know this nigga just talking out his butthole. You know what I'm saying? But he was being very passive aggressive. Nigga had nerve to say, I don't know what being passive aggressive is. You know what I'm saying? I told you you're a douchebag. You're a certified sanctimonious douchebag. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Let me be the first one to tell you that this evening. If there ain't nobody else gonna tell you. But this is real mentioning this here, right? Because when people come into this and say, hey, you ain't got to do nothing. That's why people say, God, take it away. He's not taking anything away. You know how we know this? Read Luke 9:23 first. We read it earlier today. Read it again. And after that, read 1 Peter 4:1 again. See, people want to absolve themselves for the responsibility of their choices. Now, does the word take it away? Yeah, the word take it away. But you know how the word take it away? The righteous obedience of faith. That's how the word take it away. Because you believe in what this man has promised, you cease and desist from the things that he does not delight in. You know what I'm saying? But see, niggas don't know that because you know why niggas don't know that and say he take it away? And because these niggas ain't used to a woman who loved them because she wanted to be with them. You know what I'm talking about? See, who will want a man who loves him and does this because this is what they want to do because pleasing them pleases them. See, these niggas don't believe in that. They don't believe that you look at this man and say, I love this man so much that I'd rather please him than please myself. So whatever's pleasing to him is pleasing to me. See, these niggas don't know that. They ain't never had a woman like that before. They ain't never. See, I heard some women say, so you want a woman who say she like artichokes, but she don't really like it. I say, man, that's immature as hell. Because if you around here getting amped up, think a woman on your page, because she say she like Chinese food, but she really don't, you need to get hit upside the head with a brick anyway, because you're too goddamn old to be basing compatibility on a woman off of that. Off of food choices? Off of hobbies? Man, this woman don't got to like what I like. I could care less. Does she have the characteristics and the capabilities of a wife? That's what you're supposed to be paying attention for. Not if we like the same things. That's high school stuff. I'm a grown man. Come on, man. Luke 9:23. Shalom.
And he said to all, if any will come after me,
let him do what?
Deny himself.
Let him do what?
Deny himself.
God gonna deny you.
Deny himself.
Who gonna do it?
Himself. And take up his stick daily and follow me.
Come on, man.
Whosoever will. That's
good. That man say, take up your stake daily and do what?
Follow me.
And deny yourself. So you got to do that. Now, come over here to 1 Peter 4:1. Listen to what he say.
For as much then as Mashiach have suffered for us in the flesh,
likewise,
arm yourselves with the same mind.
He
that suffered in the flesh
cease
from sin,
that he
should no longer live the rest of his time in the flesh to the lust of men, but to the will of Elohim.
Did that say that God gonna suffer you in the suffer, cause you to stop, or you got to suffer in the flesh? Now I'm gonna tell you why I said it, because when I explained to him tangibly what that looked like, all I heard was I said I hate niggas like you. Because he said, I didn't hear God in any of that. I said, you stupid, sanctimonious SOB. If I tell you my belief in this man promises, and when I say, hey, the faith is representative of this, the love is representative of this, and all this based off the word, I've already acknowledged him. But nigga, I have to humble myself. I have to exhibit long suffering based off the pattern that he's already shown towards me, and period. See, these niggas want to make it like, oh, you just don't do nothing and God do it all. That's why these niggas always be sinning. You know what I'm talking about? Because you're not actually doing anything tangibly to have self-control. You understand what I'm telling you? Now we're going to come back. Galatians 5, read me verse 1. Listen what it say. Nigga, piss me off, man. Matter of fact, before we do that, give me Leviticus 23. Let me just set the stage on it because it's going to work with what I got to deal with anyway. Because I really just want to read this word for affliction, and then I'm going to proceed. Let me see what the verse on top of my mind. We ain't got time to be wasting time.
So what's the question you said?
He asked, what does living in the spirit, what does that look like? Tangibly. Living in the spirit. Yeah, living in it. Leviticus 23 and 26.
And Yahuwah spake unto Moses, saying, also on the 10th of the 7th month, a day of atonement, it shall be a Kadash convocation unto you.
Mm-hmm.
You shall afflict your souls and offer an offering made
Pause.
of fire.
Tell them what
Yahuwah.
afflict means. They're going to afflict your knee fast. You're going to afflict your inward man.
That's a nod. To be occupied, be busy with, to afflict, to oppress, to humble, to be afflicted, to be bowed down.
To humble your soul, to afflict your soul, to bow down your soul. You understand? So that's what literally taking up your stake daily and following him means. Then we just literally hear he that suffer in the flesh. So you're humbling yourself. This is what this aspect of atonement is about. We've kind of already been talking about atonement already, you know what I'm saying, when we talk about that high priesthood. So we don't really have to go into a whole multitude of details because we just kind of wrap that up. But you know that is meaning that this is a purging, a reconciliation. We know Hosea 13 and 14 say he's going to redeem you from the power of the grave. And this goes back to what we was talking about on our first go-round. That was representative of God's love because he was dwelling with his wife according to knowledge. And you have to dwell with your wife according to that same knowledge. Now let's go back to Galatians 5 and 1.
Stand fast, therefore, in the liberty wherewith Mashiach.
Pause. He say stand forth in the what?
Therefore, in the liberty.
Pause. Now we just talked about that freedom last night, right? He say, hey, if the Son shall set you free, you shall be what? Free indeed. And the truth shall do what? Sets you free. Because you free among the dead. Because where the Ruach of the Lord is, there is liberty. There is freedom. He said, stand fast in that freedom. Don't be moved from it. Continue.
Stand fast, therefore, in the liberty wherewith Mashiach have made us free, and be not entangled again with the yoke of bondage.
Pause. Don't be entangled with death. Don't be entangled with sin. Don't fool with that. See, how do we can look at that as forth as the law in comparison? When they came up out of Egypt, they supposed to stood fast in their liberty, but they said it was better for us in Egypt. We had cucumbers, leeks, and melons. They wanted to go back to that bondage instead of standing fast in that liberty. Continue.
Behold, I, Paul, say unto you that if you be circumcised, Mashiach shall profit you nothing. For I testify again to every man that is circumcised that he is a debtor to do the whole law. Mashiach has become of no effect unto you.
He ain't no purpose to you.
Whosoever of you are justified by the law, you are fallen from grace.
Paul, see, they thinking he talking about literal. See, what he telling them people is that if you get circumcised in your penis, see, get Genesis 17 and 1 for complete and total context for a goofy nigga who might hear this later. I promise that nigga pissed me off. You know what I'm saying? That nigga pissed me off. I don't like people like him. You know what I'm saying? I don't like people who do the stuff that he was doing. That's why I say you don't care about people. See, you got a lot of people, man, they like to throw like it's all about Christ. It's all about Christ, but you don't really. I like, bro, how you talking? Because he came in calling niggas demons. He came in calling people karma. He came in telling people what they believe. You didn't even have the common courtesy to ask. I said, brother, that's not what men do. You don't make assumptions on what people believe based on you coming in mid-conversation on something. That's not even an adult thing to do. You dig? That chat is disconnected. It ain't gonna come. Ain't gonna help. No, that boy pulled the Wi-Fi out. Sometimes that chat can reconnect on YouTube. Sometimes it don't. So when you hear stuff like that, a lot of individuals just want to have this cloak. Like Tavon said, it sounds real good if you don't know no word. And I literally told D the same thing. Like when you know the witness, because he was like, he's in the whole book. This, that. I'm like, bro, we all believe that. You know what I'm saying? But some people just like to say certain platitudes, but they really don't believe in it. It doesn't magnify themselves in their behavior. I tell them, like, I say the Lord never walked up and accused anybody of being carnal or called them anything unless they showed themselves to be that way. You know what I'm talking about? I say what you did is you judged according to appearance. You didn't judge righteous judgment. That's not what you did. And there's a lot of people who do that. And I'm telling you, as you mature longer and longer in the word, and you begin to navigate around and be around certain type of people, you say he was a whole new kind of, yeah, I'm telling you, you'll begin to see that and experience that, and you have to be able to identify those type of things quickly. So you can, because for me, it was more so to let him know, hey, boy, I know what you're doing. Do you know what this nigga had a nerve to say? See, this is when you're talking like this is what bring the demons out of people. Come on, bro. Because nigga telling you, hey, boy, stop doing that. We know what you're doing, don't do that. That's not cool. It's not cool. Of course, some of y'all be on the app, a lot of y'all don't. But a lot of people make assumptions on what people believe without asking. You know what I'm saying? And I'm telling you this for one reason. Never make an assumption on what anybody believes if you didn't ask them first. Do you know what I'm saying? Because you can make yourself look real silly, or you can find yourself in a real contentious situation for nothing. Because what you thought they believed, they may not even believe. They might believe the same exact thing you do. And now you done lost a brother because you came in with a powerful, sanctimonious attitude. You know what I'm saying? Never make assumptions on anything. If you want to know something, ask. That's what most people's problem is. They don't ask. Don't assume anything. Because a lot of times when you make assumptions about stuff, you know what you be? Wrong. Because you could have just asked. And then you wouldn't have had to worry about it. But come on, man.
And when Abram was 90 years old and 9, Yahuwah appeared to Abram and said unto him, I, the Almighty Elohim, walk before me and be you perfect. And I'll make my covenant between me and you and will multiply you exceedingly. And Abram fell on his face, and Elohim talked with him, saying, he said, I'll multiply my covenant with who? You exceedingly.
Go ahead.
And Abram fell on his face, and Elohim talked with him, saying, as for me, behold, my covenant with you, you shall be a father of many nations. Neither shall your name any more be called Abram, but your name shall be Abraham. For a father of many nations have I made you. And I'll make you exceeding fruitful. I'll make nations of you, and kings shall come out of you. And I'll establish my covenant between me and you and your seed after you and their generations, for an everlasting covenant, to be an Elohim unto you and to your seed after you.
See, Paul. So when he says circumcision is none affecting you, this is what he's referring to. This is not the aspect of getting physically circumcised. It's the aspect of what the physical circumcision represented, because you believe that physical circumcision means you was in covenant with you. Is that not what he said? Now, I want you to come over here. Wait, it was just in my brain, man. Give me Jeremiah 4 and 4, and I'll deal with that.
Circumcise yourselves to Yahuwah and take away the foreskins of your heart, you men of Yehuda and inhabitants of Jerusalem. Lest my fury come forth like fire and burn that none can quench.
Now listen, this is the circumcision that Paul is referring to. This is the circumcision made without hands. But on general principle, read verse 12. Well, sit down somewhere, boy. You ain't that old, boy. Walking like you 73.
A full wind from those shall come unto me. Now also will I give sentence against him. Behold, he shall come up as clouds, and his chariots as a whirlwind. His horses are swifter than eagles. Woe unto us, for we are spoiled.
Listen.
O Jerusalem, wash your heart from wickedness.
Wash your heart from what?
Wickedness.
Wash your heart from what?
Wickedness.
Why?
That you may be saved.
That you might be what?
Be saved.
You might be what?
Saved.
They have a lot of people problem here. They don't wash their heart from wickedness, so they're not going to be saved. Notice he said, wash your heart. Remember what we read earlier, it's not what goes into a man to defile him, but what come out. You got to get that stuff from up out of you. But you wash it with the word, because the word should scrub those type of attitudes clean, because you should make a new heart and a new spirit and replace it with his mind, because you're replacing it with his word and his thoughts and his ways. Go ahead, man.
How long shall your vain thoughts lodge within you?
How long shall your worthless intentions, plots, plans, and devices dwell in you?
For a voice declared from
That's
Dan.
good. How long is that going to go on? Let's come back to Galatians 5 and 1 and run it again.
Stand fast, therefore, in the liberty wherewith Mashiach hath made us free, and be not entangled again with the yoke of bondage.
That's right.
Behold, I, Paul, say unto you, that if you be circumcised, Mashiach shall profit you nothing. For testify again to every man that is circumcised, that he is a debtor to do the whole law. Mashiach has become of no effect unto you, Whosoever of you are justified by the law, you are fallen from grace.
See, this is what he means why you think you righteous because you got circumcised in your penis. Not that he's telling people to not be circumcised because, that's what was in my brain. Matthew chapter 3 and verse 4. This will give a little bit of insight. Praise you, Lord. This will give a little bit more insight.
And the same John had his raiment of camel's hair and a leathern girdle about his loins, and his meat was locusts and wild honey. Then went out to him Jerusalem and all Judea and all the region round about Jordan, and were baptized of him in Jordan, confessing their sins. But when he saw many of the Pharisees and Sadducees come to his baptism, he said unto them, O generation of vipers, who have warned you to flee from the wrath to come.
Bring forth.
Therefore, fruits meet for repentance.
Go ahead.
And think not to say within yourselves, we have Abraham to father.
Pause. See, now, when they said this statement, don't think that we have, and when he makes this statement, don't think that we have Abraham to father. Let's take you back to Genesis 17, because it said all his sons had to be circumcised. See, if you was of Abraham's household and you weren't circumcised, guess what you would be considered to be? An illegitimate child. You understand? I ain't talking about Keturah's children. You know what I'm saying? I ain't talking about Ishmael. If you weren't circumcised, you would be considered to be illegitimate. Read that part again. That's what, verse 9? Come on with it.
And think not to say within yourselves, we have Abraham to father. For I say unto you that Elohim is able of these stones to raise up children unto Abraham.
So this is the point. See, if you focusing on you circumcised and not that circumcision like we read, give me Colossians 2 and 8. And not like that circumcision that we read in Jeremiah 4, then you a debtor to everything that's in that first covenant, boy. You gonna have a problem.
So beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after the tradition of men, after the rudiments of the world, and not after Mashiach. For in him dwell all the fullness of the Godhead bodily, and you are complete in him, which is the head of all principality and power, in whom also you are circumcised with the circumcision made without hands.
Circumcision made without what?
Without hands.
Made without what?
Without hands.
Okay.
And putting off the body of the sins of the flesh by the circumcision of Mashiach.
Putting off the what?
The body of sins.
So you put off. See, this is what people don't understand, right? And James chapter 2, when he said faith without works is dead, what's some of the things that he said in regards to that? Just some of the things that he said in his totality. I'm listening for something specific, whatever you can recall of what he was saying in that particular letter. Now, you recall anything, sir? How about Doris? She over there looking like a nun. She got that thing on her head like the nuns do. You know what they say they found in some of them Catholic churches? Whole bunch of baby bodies, skeletons and whatnot. Nah, because them priests was knocking them nuns down, and then they were getting pregnant. You know, the nuns and priests in the Catholic Church, they're not supposed to be hunching. They're not allowed to get married. Like when you join a what they call it for a nun, a covenant, a convent. Yeah, that's it. You know what I'm saying? They forsake marriage. And when you become a Catholic priest, you forsake marriage.
I didn't think they was in the same place though.
They don't be far away.
I thought they were separated for the reason that you're saying.
Oh no, not all of them. You know what I'm saying?
The priests don't stay at the convent.
No, but they slide through.
Yeah.
They all work together on the war moves.
It's sliding and gliding. Sliding and gliding. He tap it in, and you know what I'm saying?
I remember I watched the nuns, and the priest is right there. They be on the same campus, whatever you call it.
Yeah, they don't stay at the same spot, but they ain't too far away.
College.
He over here, that's right. He look at it and say, hey, Mother Mary, I'll be around the lake. Because if the priest don't get her, they getting little boys, unfortunately. Hey, I mean, we know it happens. Shoot, it ain't happens. You know it has happened for decades. These men was in there touching them. Shoot, you in New York City, the home of the pedophiles. I ain't saying that. That's where most of them Catholic lawsuits came from. Because it's a lot of Catholic churches there. A lot of Catholic churches. You heard that. Get them right, son. That's right. Boy, so he said that with conviction. Both of y'all stop. So what James said in that particular epistle letter was this. He said, you want to see my faith? He said, you show me your works, and I'll show you my faith by my works. Because see, a lot of people feel like there's no work and all that stuff is doctrine. You know what I'm saying? And that's the junk that's why I'm like, don't do that. Because everybody has conversations by doctrine. You know exactly what people mean. You know exactly what's being conveyed.
Like Noah's works was building an ark.
Absolutely. And that's actually faith without works is dead, because if he didn't believe what the man told him, then he wouldn't have built the ark. Faith and works, the works are not keeping the commandments. I can tell you that. Because why? Because the commandments are not of faith. So that can't be faith plus works. If somebody tell you that, they're just grossly misinformed. You know what I'm talking about? Putting the blood on the doorpost with that firstborn lamb is works by faith, because you had to believe if you did it that the death angel would pass by. You understand? Walking through that Red Sea is works by faith, because you had to believe that he would part it and let you get over safely. Abraham with sacrifice of Isaac. Abraham with leaving from Ur Chaldees. Rahab, which is mentioned in James, with hiding the spies. Faith and works is literally the works you do according to the promises of which he has made. Law, statutes, and commandments is not faith plus works. Because if you think the commandments is the manifestation of your faith, you sadly mistaken. You sadly mistaken. Sadly, how can that which bring forth death give you life by keeping it? In that regard, we're talking about eternal life. Because if it was able to give you eternal life, what would have been the purpose of Mashiach even coming?
But the play is they try to switch it on. If you're not keeping the commandments, you don't have faith.
And I can hear that, and I can look them and get in reverse and say, I can show you that you could keep the commandments and show you ain't got no faith. Because I got plenty of books for that.
No, I mean that's
I'm just saying that's what I would look at. If somebody came at me with that, y'all already know, man, shoot, man, that don't mean you got a perfect heart, cuz. Yeah, we got books for that. You keep them commandments and be wicked as hell. Because you don't believe. Because anything that's not of faith is sin, buddy. That man say without faith, it's impossible to please him. So you think because you don't eat pork chops and you keep the Sabbath, that means you believe? But I can see how you move. Ain't nobody coming to save you. You don't believe, nigga. Look at all that anxiety you got, unbelieving bastard. You know what I'm talking about? That's why who would tell a lot of these boys to do something, a lot of them ain't going to do nothing. But they believe, though. These niggas don't even believe on the Lord. What the hell they talking about? They spending all the time trying to dissect Paul's letters. Nigga, you trash with the word.
You can see Joseph, but you know they'll keep him the commandment.
Huh?
But
it just ain't showing on my. I can't see no chat. That junk ain't showing on his laptop. My Lord.
come on, YouTube.
Yeah. Shalom, Emma Sharona, Omar, Marvin, Brother Robert, Zoe. Shalom, Sister Kelly. Is it fair to say that Ruth had the faith of Abraham? I would say it is. I would say that was an accurate estimation. I'm sorry, y'all, because it ain't the chat ain't loaded on my laptop, so I ain't see none of these. Come on with it.
Want me to keep going to Colossians 2?
Oh no, that's the end of Colossians 2. Come back to Galatians 5, wherever you stopped at.
Galatians or Colossians?
No, Galatians. We done in Colossians.
Verse 5.
Galatians 5 and 5. Shalom, 10K.
Say, for we through the Ruach wait for the hope of righteousness by faith.
Mm-hmm.
For Yahushua HaMashiach neither circumcision avail anything, nor uncircumcision, but faith which work by love.
Faith that work by what?
By love.
My God. So you see that love come back in. See what it is. Deuteronomy 6 and 25. Read me 22 though.
And Yahuwah showed signs and wonders, great and sore, upon Egypt, upon Pharaoh, and upon all his household.
That boy look like one of them boys.
And he brought us out from thence, that he might bring us in, to give us the land which he swore unto our fathers. And Yahuwah commanded us to do all these statutes, to fear Yahuwah our Elohim for our good, always, that he might preserve us alive at this day. And it shall be our righteousness, if we observe to do all these commandments before Yahuwah our Elohim as he hath commanded us.
Listen, did he say that was God's righteousness, or did he say that was our righteousness?
It shall be our righteousness.
That's our righteousness, my God, today. See if it's our righteousness is one word, or is it Sadak, or is it two words? I put money on it's just one word.
Yeah, righteousness is separate.
I'd have lost my money.
Yes, so the call justice, righteousness.
Yeah, it's just one word. R ain't there. So this is your righteousness, if you would. I'm gonna show you what that said in the beginning, how you know that's the law, and the law is not the righteousness of God. Genesis chapter 3, verse 7.
And the eyes of them both were open, and they knew not that they knew that they were naked, and they sewed fig leaves together. For Elohim do know that in the day you eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened. You shall be as gods, knowing good and evil.
Listen to him.
And when the woman saw that the tree good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and the tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof and did eat.
See how they say to make one wise? So this is, and remember, he told you that this is your wisdom in the sight of the nation, because that's your righteousness. But that tree of life, that faith, that's the righteousness of God. You know what I'm saying? That's what people want to hold on to. This is what he mean when he say circumcision or uncircumcision don't be nothing but faith and love. This is what he mean by that. That's why he's making this statement. Because if you love God, you will believe it. See, there's a lot of people, they think they love God because they obey him, but you don't believe it. And that's why you don't have perfect love. See, that's what he do don't understand. Your love ain't been made perfect. Because you have fear, and fear have torment. Because remember, blessed is he who trusts in Yahuwah, whose hope Yahuwah is, because he'll have no anxiety in life. Come on, man, back to Galatians 5, if you would, good sir. I can see the chat now. He handed me his phone, so y'all got stuff to mention. This nigga on military time. Nigga ain't never been in army. Well, I forgot he was a CO. My bad. He be saying that you in the house, I need you up at 0800.
Not you.
You probably come in the house like this here. Quarters at $1,100.
Sharp.
Sharp. She probably gonna walk in the house and do that and ring a bell. Chow time, chow time.
We're running to the table.
Gotta eat fast, boy.
Hey, I ain't trying to hold it, man. You was RTC?
That one.
I ain't trying to slide you, man. I ain't trying to tell you.
Hey, Doris, you was in RTC?
You was military.
You was in RTC?
Boy said,
No, I ain't trying to put that on you.
nah, I ain't trying to tell you.
You what?
Without faith.
Hold on. You was in RTC?
I wasn't in ROTC.
Yeah, you were.
But my dad was pretty militant. My grandpa was in the military.
You was in RTC. My homegirl was in RTC. That's why she joined the Air Force.
Hey. Let me see the 21 guns salute.
My dad was in the Air Force.
Nigga come on, you want to join RTC? I'm like, nigga, hell no.
And they bought me the ass bag. I looked at it. I said, my fault, you might well keep that ass bag.
That joint don't even sound right. What's a ass bag? What's being ass and bad? But come on, Galatians 5. Let's hit it.
Verse 6. I'm gonna drop down. We just read this.
Give me verse 13.
Say, for brethren, you have been called unto liberty, only not liberty for an occasion to the flesh, but by love serve one another. For all the laws fulfilled in one word.
Listen, he say, if you've been called under liberty, don't use your freedom as an occasion to partake in your flesh. I don't know why that's so hard for people to understand. This freedom don't. This is what brothers was having. When we were talking to the dude earlier, what he had a hard time understanding is this caveat. If I tell you there's no sacrifice for sins for those who receive the knowledge of the truth, if they sin willfully, who does that tell you that he talking to? Not people who know the law. People who've already heard the gospel. But that's a caveat. That's not for everybody. See, let's do something. Isaiah 52 and 7. Let's make something plain and clear. Isaiah 52 and 7.
I was like to say the writer, he made that comment when he was speaking to them. So it's simply
No, and that, because remember, them people, they already know the law. That's why I told the dude earlier, that's why Hebrews, that's why Peter's letters, that's why Jude's letters, and that's why John's letters have such plainness of speech. Because they keep talking to people who already know the law. You remember when Paul writing his letters, he writing people who didn't know no law, didn't know the Lord. So these are people he just taught. They fresh with it. You're dealing with people who already know the law. You can really come in and whoop, whoop, whoop. You ain't got to do nothing. You ain't got to put nothing on.
That's why Paul said, I speak to them that know the law.
You know what I'm saying? Because, and if he has to say that, that means it was people there who didn't know it. Go ahead.
How beautiful upon the mountains are the feet of him that bring good tidings, that publish shalom, that bring good tidings of good, that publish salvation, that says to Zion, Elohim reigns.
Yo, Elohim is king. Now come over here to Romans 10 and 14. You all right? Well, it looked like you had a long day. They've been working on your nerves overtime? Who did it? Man, I thought you were pointing your mama out. Your mama did it? Oh, he was pointing at you. He said, you the culprit. You hear that, Bible study? That ain't even right, is it? He said, I'm just a young man trying to make it. I'm just a young man trying to make it. Come on, man.
How then shall they call on him in whom they have not believed?
How can they call on him whom they have not believed?
And how shall they believe in him on whom they have not heard?
And how can they believe on him whom they have not heard? And how shall they believe?
How shall they hear without a preacher?
Without a preacher, and how shall they preach except they be sent? Because as it is written,
how beautiful are the feet of them that preach the gospel of shalom.
What did he say after that?
And bring glad tidings of good things.
What did he say after that?
They have not all obeyed the gospel.
They all ain't obeyed it.
For Isaiah saith, the Lord, who have believed our report.
Who have believed our report?
So then faith by hearing,
and hearing
by the word of Elohim.
See, Paul, see in that Psalms 45, remember what he said? He said, grace is poured in your lips. See, what another gentleman tried to do earlier with that conversation is to say, hey, this really means, see, you tossing people away. I'm like, no, you're not tossing people away. I want you to go to 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 19. See, somebody who's a baby in the word, if they come in and they stumble, that's to be expected. See, he tried to say that the word willfully is the word for apostate. Are you all familiar with the word apostate? Apostate is the word, the same thing for backsliding. You know what I'm talking about? See, hold on. Let me get backsliding for you. Shalom, Amun. Heresy is false teachings. We talk about, when you look at backsliding, that is shobab, backsliding, backturning, apostate, to turn away, idolatrous backsliding. Now, when you look at, when we mention this Greek word for willfully, it literally means voluntarily, willfully, not sin done out of ignorance or inconsiderateness or weakness. You know what I'm saying? So that means you knew what you see. Check it, right? Somebody who knew to the faith, they would be weak. They would be weak in the spirit. So they would. That's why he say, watch and pray. For the ruach is willing, but the flesh is weak because you haven't been converted yet. You know what I'm talking about? So that would be, see, when people hear these things, they don't sit down to try to even ask questions to understand the nuance because they're thinking you painting with a broad brush. You know what I'm talking about? See, I'm not going to hold somebody who's 6 months in the word who ain't heard no gospel to somebody who been in it 15 years and they heard it. Because how am I going to say, why you still out here sitting? Like, come on, man, that's absolutely asinine. You know what I'm talking about? But somebody who's been in it 15 years, you mean to tell me you out here doing X, Y, Z? You done heard all that word and you did that? You remember what your man said at the time. Remember what he told you. That nigga say this is a scary understanding. Nigga tell you that right there. That's a nigga. Oh, I don't want this. I don't want this. Did too much. No, I'm saying that, but that's an example of what he's telling you when he say, and when you walk away from that, it's going to be worse for you than when you started. Because it would have been better for you to have never heard that. See, once you hit it, see, it ain't like how people say, oh, I don't want to hear that because then I'll be responsible for it. See, it's different if you done heard, and that's what I told Buddy. Most people ain't never received the knowledge of the truth to even get classified in sinning willfully.
That's why I say it's impossible.
That's why he said it's impossible. You know what I'm saying? Because anybody who done received that gift, they ain't doing that. They ain't doing that. A lot of niggas, they think they received it. They telling themselves they received it. You ain't got nothing. All you received was a venereal disease and some lies. You talking about you received the word, you stayed around here rubbing one out.
Man, go on.
You know what I'm talking about?
I received it, not.
And then I released it.
I gave it.
Come on, man. Come on with it, G.
Say, while they promise them liberty, they themselves are the servants of corruption.
While they promised them liberty, they are themselves the what?
Servants of
He
corruption.
said, while they're promising you freedom, they're serving sin themselves. Come on.
For whom a man is overcome, of the same is he brought in bondage.
Who a man is overcome, he's brought into bondage. Now, you can be in bondage to sin, or you can be in bondage to Mashiach. Which one you going to be? Because that's what Paul say, I'm a prisoner to the Lord, right? Didn't Zechariah say, you prisoners of hope? You going to be overcome by the word of God, or you going to be overcome by your flesh? Come on with it, man.
For if after they have escaped the pollutions of the
After
world,
they escape the what?
pollutions of the world,
By what?
through the knowledge of the Lord and Savior.
Pause. Through the who?
Lord and Savior.
No, through the knowledge. That means if you receive the knowledge, remember what Isaiah 53 tell us, what he tell you? The knowledge of my righteous servant will do what? That means you heard the gospel. What he say gonna happen to you?
They are again entangled therein and overcome. The latter end is worse with them than the beginning. For it had been better for them not to have known the way of righteousness,
known.
than after they have known to turn from the Kadash commandment delivered unto them.
See, this is apostasy. You understand? That's apostasy, what he talking about. That's backsliding. See, backsliding ain't you sinned a couple times. Backsliding is you like, boy, I'm done with that. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't gonna lie to you. When you examine this text, it is very few people that can come back from perpetual backsliding. Because backsliding is, because let's just clarify this so you know what backsliding is. Backsliding ain't, I was standing firm and then, I let this man bust up my back. I'm knocking girls down. I'm going out here get drunk. That's you getting caught up in your flesh again. You know what I'm talking about? Backsliding is literally turning away and walking away. You know what I'm talking about? When you go read Jeremiah 3, when he talking about backsliding Yasharal, what was he talking about they were doing before that in the beginning of that chapter? Idolatry. They had turned their back. They had walked away. You know what I'm saying? There's a difference. Backsliding is not how most of us have been told what that is in the church house. You know what I'm saying? You might have went on a bender. You know what I'm talking about? Now you shake that off. You know what I'm saying? That's not backsliding, man. Backsliding is like, oh, I'm done with that. That's why he say, return, O backsliding children. You just dabbling in you. You might, you might still come through.
My question.
You still might come through.
Word-wise, what example you got for a person that's like? I get what Elijah.
None.
Right. With Elijah as a people that's like. That's why he was like, ball your
Yeah,
God.
like he don't point out an individual.
But yeah, individual.
No, he don't point no individuals out. When the term is used for the people as a whole. Now you got Isaiah 6 and 10 when he say the people going. That's what's going to happen when the beast comes. It's going to be a large apostasy. People turning from the word. Get them Isaiah 6 and 10 real quick, man. It's like it might not. It's one of them. But like a particular individual, about the closest you would get is Saul, but he ain't really turned his back. He just was disobedient. But he just was disobedient. He wasn't never obedient to start to even be apostate because he was already he was already out of pocket from the jump street. Yeah, and that's a different thing, but he was already out of pocket. He was already an apostate when he started.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
To make the heart of his people fat and make their ears heavy and shut their eyes, lest they see with their eyes and hear with their ears and understand with their heart and convert and be healed.
Mm-hmm.
Then said I, Yahuwah, how long? And he answered, until the cities be wasted without inhabitant, and the houses without man, and the land be utterly desolate.
Listen what he finna say.
And Yahuwah have removed men far away, and a great forsaking in the midst of the land.
A great forsaking in the midst of the land. Tell them what forsaking is. Do I believe America's Babylon? I do not.
That's a Zuba, forsakenness, desolation.
Would Judas cheated like that line of backslide?
Huh?
You heard it? I said, would Judas cheated that line of backslide?
Shoot, Judas was backslid before he started. He was scarred from the start. All right, come on back though. What was that with it?
2 Peter 2.
Yeah, finish that, man. And then we'll come back to Hebrew 10.
Turn yourself.
Want to read 21 again?
Yeah, you read 21. Hey, man, get up off my table, boy. What's wrong with you?
So for it had been better for them not to have known the way of
lay
righteousness,
all the way down on the couch. Man.
than after they have known to turn from the Kadash commandment delivered unto them. But it has happened unto them according to the true proverb.
A dog returned to his vomit and the pig wallow in his mire. You know what I'm saying? That goes back we were talking about the other night. You ain't going to defecate in the toilet and then going to turn around and stick your hand in there and get it. You might have did that when you were 3. You ain't going to do that as an adult. You know what I'm saying? Come on to Hebrew 10 and 26, man. I want to check out the consistency. See how it feels. Smell it. Nigga crazy.
Say, for if we sin willfully after that, we have
Tell them
received
what
knowledge.
willfully mean, man, by definition. Because like I said, this is why people paint a broad brush. Everything's not the same. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's not at the same point. Remember, it's not equality, it's equity. So you can't come at one person the same way you're going to come at another person. Like, are you going to hold a rookie to the same standard you're going to hold a 10-year vet to? No. He got experience in the league. What experience the rookie got? He just got here. You got to teach him how to. What do you hear a lot of young players when they get in their league, what they tell them? They got to try to find a vet who can teach them how to be a what? A professional. Go ahead, man.
That's hekuseals. That's voluntarily, willingly, of one's own accord, to sin willfully as opposed to sins committed inconsiderately and from ignorance or from weakness.
You notice that he said to sin what? Voluntarily. This is like a free will offering. Boy, you knew what you were doing. Nah, backsliding and struggling aren't the same thing. You know what I'm saying? And usually when you struggling with your sin, it's because you weak in the flesh and you probably new to the word. So that's going to be a given. Or you haven't been given the applicable information to be strengthened inwardly to not struggle in the flesh. So that's going to be a given. See, the problem with most of these niggas in the word, man, is these niggas are unmerciful. They lack compassion, like we were talking about earlier. So all they want to do is be able to condemn. Like I said, that nigga earlier, you got to be a different type of nigga to look for sin on people. I told you that earlier. You got to be a different type of nigga to do that. That's some weird stuff to me, man. You know what I'm saying? But I also know that this is emblematic of people who don't really deal with people in real life. You know what I'm saying? That we ain't even talking about no word just on the natural side of things to see somebody struggling in life, period, or weak in something, period, and having some care and concern for their well-being. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know I ain't never came at none of y'all when you came in the word be like, nigga, why you struggling with that? Nigga, you just started. And I ain't even talking about after 6 months. Man, I'm not expecting nobody to be perfect in a year or two and they just learning the word. That's not even a reasonable expectation. You know what I'm saying? That's why I say the 3 to 5. 3 is when there should be some maturity that should start to be being seen. You know what I'm talking about? That don't mean you may not be struggling with something, but that just means that you start to mature. Now I'm growing. I'm not a baby anymore. I'm in toddler phase, maybe young adolescence. You know what I'm saying? Once you get to year 5, you should be a young man. You know what I'm saying? Cognizant and aware of what you got going on and having a little bit of wherewithal to be able to defeat things and not allow weakness to overtake you. What this man talking about is when he like this here, nah, see, that's apostasy. Nah, bro, that thing that's said willfully and voluntarily. That means you what? Know what you're doing. And that means you know what you're doing after you heard the word, hearing meaning the gospel that Yahushua was preached to you. That man say you going to hell. He told me you just tossing people away. He said, that's what you said. I said, that's not what I said. That's what the book said. Now, whether you agree with it or not, that's between you and God. I'm not finna argue with you about that. Do you know this man said that was my understanding with 1 John 3:9, and all we did was just say what it said? But we're not going to read 1 John 3:9. See, if you know what we're going to read? We're going to read 1 John 5:17. He said, is sin transgression of the law? I mean, you have three. It is. I mean, you have sin, you have transgression, and you have iniquity. Transgression is rebellion, iniquity is perversion, and sin is offending. So that's why he say he forgives sin, iniquity, and transgression, because they're the same, but they're not mutually exclusive at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Because to be a rebel is what sin and willfully is. To sin willfully, you have to know what you're doing, which means you're purposely being defiant. Go ahead, man.
All unrighteousness is sin, and there is a sin not unto death. We know that whosoever is born of Elohim sin not, but he that is begotten of Elohim keep himself.
He guard himself.
And that wicked one touch him not.
He say he guard himself. See, people don't want to hear that, because if that's true and you still sinning, you going to hell and you know it. So you don't want that to mean what it say. My thing is, if that's what it says and you believe the word, why does that offend? Why are you finding a reason for it not to be true? And that's unfortunate, because he said, he that is born of God do not commit sin. He cannot sin. His seed remain in him. He born of God. He that commits sin is of the devil. And this we know, the sons of the devil and the sons of God. I'm like, bro, that's your understanding. There's nothing to understand. That's plain, nigga. That's what it says. And I'm like, I can remember the first time I read that, man. It was like, well then. And for me, it wasn't on you committing sin is of the devil, because that had no connotation in me, because I already knew I was a sinner when I came into it. I'm looking at verse 9 like, I ain't never heard nobody say that before. Like straight up. And when I seen that, I said, okay, you can live without sin then. This is pretty plain. That's the first thing that clicked in my mind. It's literally what it said. So you know what that told me? Get born of God. That's it. That's all that told me. It wasn't no kickback, no pushback. No, that don't mean that. Be born of God. That's it. That's all that told me. Straight up and down. And that's why you don't hear too many people who preach the word who read that verse anyway. That or verse 17 in chapter 5 you just read. People just gloss right past that.
That's one of the few verses I can remember the first time I read it.
Psalms 119:1. This is another one. Read it for them. Because I remember coming in the word and seeing all these passages and like, oh, these niggas been lying. These niggas lying. And then they get mad at you because you telling them, nah, bro, you can live clean. Psalms 119:1. Listen what he say.
Baruch the undefiled in the way.
Oh my God. Baruch the who?
Undefiled in the way.
What undefiled mean? Because if that's the way, that's the rock, right? And what is the rock? That's a way of life.
That's Talmud. Complete whole.
He say, blessed are the perfect. My God, today. That man say, blessed are the perfect in the way. Now, why these niggas ain't telling you that? Ain't know what it said? That man said, if you perfect in his way of life, boy, you blessed. Read again.
Baruch the undefiled in the way, who walk in the law of Yahuwah.
Who walk in the what?
Law of Yahuwah.
What else?
Baruch are they that keep his testimonies.
What
And
else?
seek him with the whole heart.
What else?
They also do no iniquity.
They don't do no iniquity.
They walk in his ways.
That man say, those who guard his testimony. Don't that sound like blessed are those who have the testimony of the Son of God and the commandments of God? That's literally what it say. I'm talking about on the back end. And he said they don't do no iniquity. Sell him, give him the definition of Avon right there for iniquity, man. Go ahead and share it with him, man.
This is a veil. That's injustice, unrighteousness.
They don't do no unrighteousness. They don't do no what?
Wrong.
They don't do no wrong.
Violent deeds of injustice.
They don't do no wrong. And these people telling you, you always gonna do wrong. He just said, blessed are those who don't do no wrong. Get him Psalm 94:12. Maybe that'll help him out some more. My God, today.
Baruch the man whom you chasten, O Yahuwah, and teach him out of your law, that you may give him rest from the days of adversity until the pit be digged for the wicked.
I think I got you in the wrong place. Go ahead, keep going.
For Yahuwah will not cast off his people, neither will he forsake his inheritance. But judgment shall return unto righteousness, and all the upright in heart shall follow it. Who will rise up for me against the evildoers? Who will stand up for me against the workers of iniquity?
That's good. I definitely got you in the wrong place. I got you in the wrong song.
What buddy was talking about yesterday? Sinless and pure doctrine. What is that?
Who said
That
that?
was your first time hearing that?
Who you talking about?
The nigga in the clubhouse, he was like, y'all on that sinless and
Oh, I got you. Hold on. Read Psalms 97. That's what I wanted. Psalms 97:10.
So you that love Yahuwah hate evil.
You that love Yahuwah hate what?
Evil.
And love the what?
He preserved the souls of his saints. He delivered them out of the hand of the wicked.
That's good. Now ask that for me one more time so I can get my thoughts together.
he was saying y'all on that sinless and perfection doctrine.
Yeah. So this is what people call it. Because I've had this conversation with so many different people over the course of time. When you tell people that once you born of God, that it is possible to live a clean and kadosh and upright life without sin, they'll say that's the sinless doctrine. Now, see, and that's when they'll run to the 1 John 1. He that say that he has no sin, deceiving on himself, but nobody said that they didn't have any sin. You know what I'm saying? Nobody ever said that because we corrected Buddy with that this evening. You'll read that, but then you'll omit the part when he said, but if you confess and forsake your sins, he is just to forgive you and cleanse you from all unrighteousness. I say, brother, if you cleanse from all unrighteousness, guess what that means? You not sinning no more. See, they hear that sinless perfection and they think you saying you don't need a redeemer. When you're literally saying when you're born of God, because that's the caveat. Because if I'm born of God, guess what happened? I believed on him as the scripture has said, and out of my belly shall flow rivers of living water, because I have received the Ruach HaKadosh that Yahushua would give to all those that believed on him. Why? Because the flesh profiteth nothing. The Ruach quickeneth. The words that I speak unto you, they are Ruach and they are life. But see, what individuals like to do is what I told you Buddy was doing earlier. They try to make you thinking that you earning your salvation through, they insert things that you're not saying. You know what I'm saying? Or they don't ask, I can't even say, or they insert things that you're not saying and then don't ask questions for clarification because you already know what you believe. So you're stating your stance, but they don't know what you believe. So they're assuming that you believe certain things based on conversations that they done had with other people, not even with other people, based on how they're taught that that's not a true doctrine. Because they want you to believe that you always gonna sin. But as Bleedo said yesterday, man, you speaking life. That's why we read the Deuteronomy 30. But you supposed to be speaking. How can you turn around and tell people life and death is in the power of the tongue, and you know that the tree of life give life, and the testimony of Yahushua give life, and he is not the minister of sin, that he has not taught us to sin, but he came to destroy the works of sin, and then sit around and say that? Because if I'm telling you always gonna sin, then you telling me Christ taught you to sin. He never taught you that. The same way the Buddy would piss me off. You ain't nobody perfect. Bro, you know perfect means having integrity, bro. As a man, you should be insulted if somebody tells you you lack integrity and you know you do. That's disrespectful. But you notice that these men don't find that as disrespect, and that makes me question who raised you. Because as a man, that should offend you. You know what I'm talking about? Because guess what? Your integrity is like what Scarface said in the movie. You know what he said? You remember what he said? All I have in this world is my word and my ball. You know what that means, each other? All I have is my manhood and my integrity. This is what makes me a man. You take my manhood and integrity away from me, I'm no longer a man. And when you tell me I'm not perfect, and I know perfect means integrity, tamaim in Hebrew, I know it means to be pure, to be clean, to be whole, to be sound, to have integrity. You telling me that I'm a pump faker, I'm a flodger, I'm a fake nigga. I take offense to that, my G. I'm not finna sit here and let you call me that, man. Just Just because the rest of these niggas will sit here and let you say that about them, that don't mean I am. Should the Lord check them niggas for talking about him like that? That man say, man, we read it last night. He said, which one of you convinced me of a sin? And if I tell you the truth, why you don't believe? When that man came up and he slapped them, he said, man, what you hit me for? You know what I'm saying? He said, if I was wrong, then fine. And if not, what you put your hands on me for? You know what I'm talking about? That man ain't just saying sit there and let them people say any and everything. The only time he ain't say nothing was what? When they were finna kill him. Then he kept his peace. You know what I'm talking about? But when he would move around and they were slicing this man, when they called him Beelzebub, he let that slide or he checked them about it. He ain't let that slide. I'm not finna let you do that to me, man. What's wrong with you? Dudes feel like you just supposed to just let anybody say anything about you. And just let that go. Hell no, I'm not letting that go. No, I'm not letting that go. I'm finna call you out on that. You know what I'm talking about? Now, it's different if you come and you tempting me with your questions. Like when he say, why tempt me? You trying to prove me. I know what you're doing. I'm not participating in that. That's sucker stuff. You know what I'm talking about? He ain't participating in none of that. But you just not finna openly disrespect me and think I'm just finna sit there and roll with that. You got to be crazy.
You know, that he still gave them a little words so they could ponder on it.
So they could ponder on it. That's how you kick it. You check them and then you hit them with some word. Think on that. Chew on that for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Right in your mind. Man. You know what I'm talking about? Like straight up and down, man. Cause nah, bro. Cause that's what I told that dude this evening, man. Like, y'all used to nobody checking you and calling you out for what you're doing, bro. I know what you're doing, bro. I'm not letting that slide. Because that's the problem with a lot of these men is that people let that sucker stuff slide. You supposed to let him know, hey, boy, I see you now. Yeah. And I told him, like the brother say, he had main character syndrome. He wanted to be the center of attention. When people having a conversation, and me and the dude who were talking, we didn't necessarily agree, but we still having, and it wasn't even that far of a disagreement. You still having a conversation, though. Niggas is crazy. Come on, man. What we at?
You go to Psalm 97.
Yeah. Come on back to Galatians 5, man. Go ahead and give me verse 6. You can read verse 14. Them doggone Forex bots, they be everywhere. I don't know why they do all that stuff. I know ain't nobody stupid enough to get these people their personal information. They be everywhere. I seen somebody say IUIC all must be heavy in that Forex. I'm like, y'all do know they be taking people profile pictures, right? They feel like if they feel like you in the word, then they put a Hebrew name on there and put somebody's Hebrew photo on there and send you a friend request on Facebook and send you a friend request on Clubhouse and see if you stupid enough to jump down with it. You're going to be in the poorhouse. Or you're going to be trying to get somebody to get, so you're going to be trying to bond out the booty house. Come on with it, man.
For all the laws fulfilled in one word, in this, you shall love your neighbor as yourself.
You know, it's hard for people to understand that this man is saying that clearly, that the whole book is fulfilled in loving your neighbor as yourself. And you know why people have a hard problem with loving their neighbor as themselves? Because they hate themselves. A lot of people who in this word, man, they have a hard time loving their neighbor as themselves because they hate themselves. It's hard to love somebody when you don't love yourself. It's hard to love your who when you don't love yourself. It's hard to love your wife when you don't love yourself. It's hard to love your family members when you don't love yourself. It's hard to love your brothers and sisters in the word if you don't love yourself. It's hard to love your children if you don't love yourself. It's hard to love yourself when you don't love. Look at man, it's a lot of things that you can tell when somebody don't love themselves, man. And like I told Buddy earlier, man, the reason why people don't get right is because nobody is focusing on the issues and the matters of the heart. So people can peer into their souls and get to the root of why you feel the way that you feel, that you behave the way that you behave, that you see the world why you see the world. So we can find out the root cause of that and cut that out of the ground so it can die. Don't nobody want to do that because that means you would actually, one, you would have had to do that for yourself, and two, you would actually have to care about another person enough to help walk with them through that. Because some people got, man, you got to walk with them on that, man. That's some serious, real deal stuff, man. A lot of people don't be really wanting to deal with the stuff, man. People done experienced in life, man. Some people done been through or seen some real messed up stuff, man. You know what I'm talking about? Like some people done had some real difficult upbringings, man, and it did something to their mentals. And some people don't want to deal with all that. They don't care enough. You know what I'm saying? They don't care about your soul enough to be like, okay, this is why you think like this. This is what you experience. Because the nigga don't care. All they want to do is throw some precepts at you. That'll get you right. You know what I'm saying? Man, you got to sit down, man. That man say, man, a physician heal the sick. You know what I'm talking about? You better get down there and heal them people, man. Shalom, Bazooka, man. You better get down there and heal them people, man. That's how you know all these people don't work for this man. Come on with it, G.
But if you bite and devour one another, take heed that you be not consumed one of another. I say then, walk in the Ruach, you shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. For the flesh lusts against the Ruach, and the Ruach against the flesh. These are contrary the one to the other.
They contrary one to another.
So that you cannot do the things that you would.
That's what people don't realize, man. You got to walk in the spirit, because if you in your flesh, that's contrary. How you going to be able to walk with God if you walk in contrary? How you going to be able to do that? You can't be carnal and spiritual. You got to be one or the other. And if you're walking in the spirit, why would you want to walk? Why would you want to walk in death when you can walk in life? Why would you do that? That don't even make sense. Because if you're walking in the flesh, man, that means you walking in maliciousness, spitefulness, blasphemies, foolishness, lasciviousness, fornications, adulteries, murders, thefts, covetousness. Why would you want to walk in that? Why would you want to live in that? What type of sense does that make? And nobody ever has a justification when that question is asked. Why would I want to do that when I know there's no benefit for me in doing that? We're not talking about somebody who's struggling, weak in the flesh. Let's make that clear. We're not talking about that. That's a different conversation. Because you notice that it said willful sin. That didn't apply to somebody who did something in a moment of carnal or fleshly weakness. That don't pertain to that. That's a different conversation. And I told that man that. We're dealing with nuance. You're dealing with different conversations. You're dealing with things that don't apply to everybody. So you can't try to make this apply to everybody, and then you think you swiping this broad brush. That's what make people come up with this stuff. So we just throwing people away. Who said that? Do you know that these people was literally saying, man, that you can repent and God just gonna automatically forgive you? I say, man, that's dangerous. It's all outdoors. Why would you tell somebody that? Lord have mercy. Come on, man.
But if you be led of the Ruach, you are not under the law.
If you led of the what?
Of the Ruach.
If you under the Spirit of God, can you die? So if you led, so you telling me to stay in my flesh so I can die. Now we're gonna see what that means, because see, of course, people think that's talking about the law, statutes, and commandments. Man, that ain't talking about that, man. That's not what that means. And he's gonna tell you that's not what that means. Go ahead.
Now the works of the flesh are manifest.
Which are what?
Adultery,
fornication,
uncleanness,
lasciviousness,
idolatry, witchcraft,
hatred,
variance,
emulations,
wrath,
strife,
seditions, heresies.
Paul, now you know seditions is what? Rebellions. Heresies is false teachings. You know what I'm saying? You know what adultery is. You know fornication is all manner of any type of sexual deviancy. Go ahead and tell them what uncleanness and lasciviousness is. You know what witchcraft and idolatry is. You know what hatred is. Variance is just being strife-filled. Emulations is, we'll reread it and say, come on.
Uncleanness is akatharsia. That's uncleanness, physical or in the moral sense. The impurity of lustful, luxurious, profligate living, of impure motives.
Impure motives. So this is what you need to focus. Being unclean here is not, oh, you ejaculated and you unclean like these boys were talking about the other day. This is having impure motives. You know what this take you to? A heart that devises wicked imaginations. You know what I'm talking about? That's what that is. One of the 7 things that Yahuwah hate, that's an abomination unto him. So when you have impure motives in the things that you do, that's a work of the flesh. Go ahead, man, and tell them what lasciviousness is. Y'all done heard about it.
That's azalgia, unbridled lust.
Unbridled lust. Let me tell you something, right? And I done told you this before, and Puffy was an example of this. And I ain't saying this to mention him because we were clowning earlier. I mean this sincerely. Because I told you before. Me and my homeboy shared the same point of view. And it was this chick who said it. And a lot of dudes don't want to hear that, but I'm telling you, a man who is always horny will have sex with another man. You know what I'm saying? He'll do that. And Puffy is a prime example of that. Somebody who has that much lasciviousness, that much unbridled lust in them, they're not going to care who they have sex with. I ain't saying that for no humor, no jokes, no nothing. I done told you before. I'm dead serious about it. I done seen it, man. People who got, it's one thing to have a healthy sexual appetite. It's another thing to always be burning in your lust. You're not going to care who you lay with. You know what I'm saying? Because the only objective that you have is the fulfilling of your lust. You know what I'm saying? Straight up and down. That's how that goes down. That's the reality of it. That's why that's a work of the flesh. You're not supposed to have that much lust in you, cuz. Not like that. And that goes back to the initial thing that we read about humbling yourself if your forth is afflicting your soul. Because when you fasted on atonement, people focus on that, but people don't focus on the fact that you're afflicting your soul to restrict your body from what it needs so you can learn the discipline to restrict it from what it wants. Because he wanted that cup to pass, he was literally afflicting his soul before they even got down to beating on the man. The man was literally afflicting his soul. He was literally suffering in the flesh to cause sin to cease. See, remember Daniel 9:24, because we reference it a lot. Daniel 9:24 says clearly that he came to make an end of sins, to make reconciliation for iniquity, and to finish the transgression. So when he suffered in his literal flesh, it put a cease to sin. So when you hear Hebrews 12, ain't none of you strived against sin, it's for shedding blood. You ain't even got to do all that. All you got to do is suffer in your flesh by denying yourself. Do you see the mercy of God in that? You didn't have to go, you didn't have to do what he did to stop sin. All you got to do is deny yourself. And when you walk in the spirit, then you're not under the law. And what law is that? It's Genesis 3:19. But let's continue.
Verse 21 said, envyings, murders, drunkenness, revelings, and such like, of the which I tell you before, as I have told in time past,
that they which do
such things
shall not inherit
the kingdom of Elohim.
But the fruit of the Ruach
is love.
Pause. Now we're going to take it step by step. We done did it before. We finna do it again. Now, I'm in Galatians, so you can go to 1 Corinthians 13. I'm going to read 1 Peter 3:8 right now. This boy came back again as the hard king. Now I know for certain that he leaves some type of protruding projectile on his toilet to sit on when he uses the bathroom. Mm-hmm. That's what he said. You can't come to Milwaukee. I'm talking about he get enough word to send him to hell for a few eternities. But 1 Peter 3:7, right? Likewise, you husbands, dwell with according to knowledge, give honor unto the wife as unto the weaker vessel, as being heirs together of the grace of life, that your prayers be not hindered. Now, we were talking about this earlier in Civic in 1 Corinthians 13:4. Run that for me.
Love suffer long and is kind.
Mm-hmm.
Love envy not.
Mm-hmm.
Love want not itself.
Mm-hmm.
Is not puffed up.
It's not puffed up.
Does not behave itself unseemly. Seek not her own. Is not easily provoked. Think no evil. Rejoice not in iniquity, but rejoice in the truth.
Mm-hmm. Shalom, Brother Ernest. Paul, read verse 4 again.
Say love suffer long.
Pause. So now one of the fruits of the spirit is love. And we kind of started on dealing with this here. Long suffering is one of the fruits of the spirit also. So this is being slow to wrath. So now I'm going to put this in y'all lap with this here, man. This nigga say, I know how you look, boy. Obviously. Obviously. I'm literally on the live stream, cuz. What's happening with you yet to die, man? That's crazy. I know what you look like. You don't say. You don't say. And he lucky, see, I can't block him because I can't see it on here. I'd have to do some finagling. Oh, I can't do it. Hold on.
That boy said, hey, people take me like.
Well, you should have hated your mama then. Because I definitely waited. She probably never took you serious since the day you were born.
Keep creating all these profiles.
Yeah, that's sad. What that boy say, I feel sorry for your mother. What you say about my mama? Why you said that about my mama? That's my mama. Nah, I ain't finna mute him, my G. I got it, but I say I got to do it on my phone because the chat not popping up. on my laptop because my son pulled out the Wi-Fi, so it had to reboot. But you ain't got to worry about it.
That boy said, people in camps that got Draco.
He needs a hug. He need more than a hug, Emma. There you go. He need more than a hug. He need Jesus.
So where they at?
No, I removed it.
He had it.
No, I just did it. I removed it.
He said he got people in camps and Jackson that got Dracos.
No. Come on. When he blocked him, it removes his comments from there.
But they own it.
No, I just blocked him though. You know what I'm saying? It might take a while. It might still show on y'all side. It won't show on my side.
If you do it from the laptop, it usually remove all of his comments.
Yeah. See, I just removed him. But I removed him from my profile, from the channel profile.
You gonna create another profile?
Yeah, he gonna create another one. He gonna have to keep creating them. Because he gonna keep getting blocked. You know what I'm talking about?
Well, you know how many Gmail accounts? Got too much time.
Lord of mercy.
Nah, that boy ain't living right. You know you gotta put the
That boy probably got all type of accounts, man. Look at Marvin. Marvin said he needed a surprise visit. Man, you're gonna find out that's probably gonna be a 14-year-old boy. You know what I'm saying? People who play them type of games, them be churned. You know what I'm saying? Now that's a grown man. That's a grown man that clearly masturbates excessively. You know what I'm saying? That just is what it is. Yeah, because no grown man with any type of time, wife, money, life, anything of the sort is going to make that many different YouTube accounts to get on one particular live stream and troll.
That nigga obsessed with you.
You know what I'm saying? Nah, he obsessed with it going to hell. I know how you look. I hope he ain't around here with pictures up doing godly things to himself.
I know how you look by the screen. See every night.
Lord of mercy. Kill this nigga. But listen, I need y'all. I'm gonna put this in y'all hands. I'm gonna need y'all to from Genesis to Deuteronomy to give me an example of the long suffering of Yahuwah. Now I'll give you one on the house. That's Noah. Oh, I mean the long suffering in regard to the time period and space before his wrath came on the earth because they corrupted the way of Yahuwah before he flooded it.
Are you looking for like individuals that showing that?
It could be to a nation, it could be to an individual. Remember, long suffering is the abating of wrath. You say who? Joseph. I'll give you Sodom and Gomorrah because Joseph didn't have wrath on his head. I said Genesis to Deuteronomy, sir. You're ahead of yourself. He's ahead of the class. You remember that? Y'all, that's y'all too young for that. Emma said the 40 years in the wilderness. Indeed. Now, out of them 40 years of the wilderness, can we point out certain examples? The only reason I'm doing this because we done did this before. So I'm not trying to go super in depth. But also this is dealing with how you dwell with your wife according to knowledge. Because, of course, you know, Mashiach dwelt with us, and he was definitely so direct. Remember what he told his apostles. We didn't come here to destroy men's lives, but to save them. Remember when they asked to let that fire come down? Or when the woman got caught in adultery, he said, no man condemn you. She said, no. He said, I don't condemn you either, baby. That's long suffering. Because where wrath is required, I don't extend it. Or I draw it out. Do you know this man tried to use, well, if you sin willfully and you ain't forgiven, why did he tell Peter to forgive your brother 70 times 7? See, sir, that's a conflation. You're trying to conflate two different things that have nothing to do with one another by trying to say that you could do this and he'll forgive you. You know why he told Peter to forgive your brother 70 times 7? The 10 times they murmured and complained, I'll allow it. Yeah, definitely. You say Adam and Eve would count?
That's you forgiving your brothers to forgive you.
Just absolutely. And he literally told him that before he said that. You know what I'm saying? But when you trying to make a particular point that no one is making, you know what I'm saying? You'll try to grab verses. Man, this man tried to grab Isaiah 1 and say, see, they sin with the knowledge of the truth. I say, no, that's not going to work. You know why? Because they had Moses. What did Moses bring? The law. What did Yahushua HaMashiach bring? Grace and truth. You know what he tried to say? Well, David sinned. Solomon sinned. I said, I don't care what Solomon and David did. Were they born of God? No. So why are you talking to me about two men who didn't even receive the perfection that Mashiach came to give? They had to hear that in the grave. When he preached to the spirits in prison, that's when they got it. So they don't count. They already dead. We talking about two. But I ain't gonna lie though. That brother said he hadn't had sex in 30 years, bro, and the dude tried to mock him for that. Oh, did I hear somebody say they hadn't had a woman in 30 years and that makes you righteous? I said, you a hell of a nigga. Nah, bro, I ain't gonna lie, bro. I ain't like that, man. And I actually had to tell the dude, I just was doing something else. I said, hey, man, regardless of what he talking about, I respect it, boy. Because that's a mean discipline right there, boy. 30 years, man. Well, you got to love God to do that. Ain't too many people built like that. I did 10 plus, boy. That boy did 30. Boy, I'm 44 years old.
I'm 30.
You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about, and he said he did this for the Lord's sake. Because he would say, hey, man, I ain't saying sin. He said, I ain't been with a woman in 30 years, and I ain't like the fact that cuz tried to downplay him and like, oh, that mean you righteous because you did that? It damn sure don't mean he ain't unrighteous, nigga. Let me now, listen to me, man. Listen to me. A man that can exhibit that type of discipline, bro, that man can discipline himself in a lot of other areas in his life, man. What he talking about? You know what I'm saying? Like the book tell you, if you can bridle your tongue, you can do what? Control your whole body. You know what I'm saying? This is what the book tell you. So I know with most men, your loins is your biggest weakness. And if that man can discipline his loins for 30 years, I know full well he can discipline his flesh. I don't care what that nigga that's talking about. You know what I'm saying? And niggas say whatever they want to say. I ain't gonna call a man a liar because I don't know him. But I know this here, he probably a hell of a lot more godly than most of these niggas on here.
Ain't no nigga gonna make a bold thing like that.
And you know why I know it's plausible? Because boy, I did it for 12. So I know it's real. Because I done did it. I just ain't do it long as him, boy. Because boy, if you love God that much, boy, that's what you gonna do, boy. That boy didn't love God. These boy don't love God, boy. These boy beating they meat, trying to ski with every woman they meet. You know what I'm talking about? But you know how wicked you got to be to say that, bro? Like seriously, man, put all that other stuff to the side. Because nobody responded to dude like, oh, nothing. He just said, hey, man, I'm not, that man literally said, and I quote, I'm not condoning sin. I'm not promoting sin. I ain't been with a woman in 30 years. So I know why he making this statement, because me and him having this conversation, he let me know I got this level of discipline. He telling me all I need to know about him. You know what I'm saying? Because, boy, that's some discipline, cuz. That's some discipline, man. Well, you got nigga can't go 30 minutes. You know what I'm talking about? Can't go 30 minutes. This man say he went 30 years. He going on 30 years. And that man had the nerve to say, this man had the nerve to say, oh, so you think that make you righteous? I said, well, that nigga, that buster. Like, people don't hear stuff like that. They just let that slide. Like, oh, this nigga here's a buster. But let me get to y'all responses. We got Cain and Abel. Hold on. Moses' mother. You say the wilderness. Moses' mother in what regard? Yeah, it definitely is Bazooka, because that's strong. You say how he dealt with Egypt and Pharaoh. Yeah, that was long suffering how he dealt with Egypt and Pharaoh. Emma said Abraham waiting on Isaac to be born. No, that was different than Emma, because remember, you looking at long suffering is being slow to wrath. Go ahead.
Can I use Jacob?
Yeah, that's what they said. So yeah, that's into that how he dealt with Laban, because we just read that the other night when he said, "I let my righteousness speak for me." What you say, Boop? In the wilderness when he gave them quails? Yeah, they definitely. Yeah, definitely. Because Adam and Eve count. Now I ain't gonna say that when it counts. I ain't gonna say that's long suffering on the wrath, because he didn't drop no wrath on them, because them dying was just the consequence of that tree. There wasn't no wrath he could keep back because you brought this on yourself. Abraham interceding for Sodom is definitely long suffering. Yeah, when he took them out with that quail, boy, he suffered them for a long time, boy. And yeah. But what did Brother Ernest put on there? The serpent on the rod. And that's definitely one also. Because before he got them bit on that serpent, they were running their mouth. Definitely, like when you and like I said, because we zeroing in on things in the wilderness. When you look at what went on in that wilderness, man, the manner of slowness to wrath this man executed. Because remember what he said in Numbers 14, come on, Moses, man, let me kill them all. I make them a nation greater, man, mightier from you. But this is how you dwell with your wife according to knowledge, because you cannot be slow to wrath. Dealing with your wife, that's not giving honor to the weaker vessel. Because that's Yahuwah giving honor to us by being slow to wrath. That's why I said that with Mashiach, doing that with the woman in adultery. Or when the one we read in Mark 3, when he was angry, when he was healing the man with the withered hand. Or even how he checked them when the woman came and got healed from the issues of blood. You know what I'm saying? That's long suffering, because these people worthy of wrath. But yet he did not exhibit that. So the next thing in Galatians 5:22 is joy. Now, joy. Yes. I don't think Side Joy in here though. I think she at home. I think she's sick. You got her sick, Carter? You did it. Now, when we look at joy, all encompassing from Genesis to Malachi, what examples would you give? The first example that I will give you as a fruit of the Spirit is joy, as I will use in the Yahushua son of Nun when they overran Jericho. Now, y'all can proceed and give me whatever answers that you have. Now, that one there would be joy, what you got right there, Emma. Him waiting on Isaac to be born, because when that baby was born, there was joy. See, remember that the book of Nehemiah tells you the joy of Yahuwah is your what? That is your strength. So the joy of Yahuwah is a very important thing. This is the aspect of the fruits of the Spirit. Jacob linking up with his brothers after coming out of Egypt? Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. When they got the ark in and David was dancing, that's the joy of Yahuwah. That's the joy of Yahuwah. See, it's certain things that especially Hebrews get caught up in, because I think they be wanting to make sure that they delineate themselves from Christians. You can't be worried about not delineating yourselves from Christians, because that's not our business. We have to learn that, like, if you believe that that's a house of idolatry, let your righteousness, joy, faith, peace, and love for God be the reason why them people leave that church. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to come out, because going to fight their doctrine all day, every day, ain't going to do nothing but make them defensive. So you need to be exemplary of what it is that you represent, since that persuade them. Remember, he said, if anybody don't have the word, let them be one without it. Sometimes you got to let the preachers do the preaching and you do the living. The celebration of Purim indeed. Little Johnny got dancing. And yes, Sister Kelly mentioned Jose suffered long dealing with Gomer. He did, because that was representative of Yahuwah suffering long dealing with us.
When he prayed.
Absolutely. You talking about in Chronicles with the section that Passover? Oh,
no, that I was talking about with the Sennacherib.
Absolutely, because they took him down. Yahuwah took him down. You can look at the joy that people had during the time of Elisha when he seen the angels around the camp when they were tussling and they took them. See, the joy of Yahuwah, give them joy in that Galatians 5 by definition.
Would Samson be joy at the end?
Oh yeah, he would definitely joy for to kill all the Philistines. That brought him great joy. Great joy. But just remember, right? What does Proverbs 5 say you're supposed to do with the wife of your youth?
Sure.
Rejoice with her. So if you in that, now you mentioned in Deuteronomy, cheer your wife up, and that word means to rejoice. So if you're with a woman who don't bring you any manner of joy, why are you married to her? You know what I'm saying? That's what you have to look at. Man, if you got to come home and be like, damn, I hate this woman, that's not good. You know what I'm saying? That's not good at all. Most want to say Miriam dancing when they crawl. Absolutely. Same thing with Deborah with the song she sang after the conquering the war. You know, winning the battle gets you joyful quick because you just seen the power of your God standing up on your behalf. What you got for that joy in Greek?
That's hurrah, joy or gladness.
Gladness. How you who don't make you glad? Why you around here sad? You know what I'm saying? They say don't get sad. You know what they used to say? Get glad lock zipper bags.
When Yahuwah stepped with Jeremiah, he was like, I ain't gonna let you go into captivity with them. Because you obey and listen, you trust in me.
Bring joy. He watched it. And Mary had G. She was happy bird. How you know? You was there.
No.
How you know? Well, look serious. You said I read it. I know that's right, my boy. Now he made me forget what I was going to read. So I brought me joy. You were singing Anita Baker. She bring you joy? You know that song?
No.
That's unfortunate. Dang, I just forgot what I was going to read. What? Oh, I can't read. I don't forgot. My Lord, peace is the next thing. Oh, that's what it is. Proverbs 5. Give me praise you. Give me verse 13. Tell me what that says.
It says, and have not obeyed the voice of my teachers.
Okay, back me up. Tell me what Sam said.
Hear me now, therefore, O you children, and depart not from the words of my mouth. Move your way far from her, and come not near the door of her house, lest you give your honor unto others, and your years unto the cruel. Let strangers be filled with your wealth, labors in the house of a stranger. And you mourn at the last when your flesh and your body are consumed.
No, that's too much. Because we don't want to talk about you being a dummy, messing with strange women, messing with them harlots. Leave them whores alone, boy. Leave them whores alone. Yeah, I got to drop down some. Verse 15. Leave them whores alone, boy. I appreciate you, sir.
They drink waters out of your own cistern, and running waters out of your own well. Let your fountains be dispersed abroad, rivers of waters in the streets. Let them be only yours, only your own, and not strangers with you. Let your fountain be Baruch, and rejoice with the wife of your youth.
Rejoice with the wife. Listen, you know what? I'm going to do it. Now, Book mentioned on here in Ezra, when they returned to the land, absolutely them people were joyful. But I'm going to take it a step further. Back up to verse 15, man. Check this out, man. People play that got to get laid. Listen.
Drink waters out of your own cistern.
Drink waters out of what?
Your own cistern.
And out of your own what?
Your own well.
Pause. Isaiah 12 and 4. I'm going to make this quick now, so walk with me. If I'm moving too fast, let me know. I slow it down. 12 and 4.
And in that day shall you say, praise Yahuwah, call upon his name, and declare his doings among the people. Make mention that his name is exalted.
Listen.
Sing unto Yahuwah, for he have done excellent things. This is known in all the earth.
Come on.
Cry out and shout, you inhabitants of Zion, for great Kadash one of Yasharal in the midst of you.
Come on.
That's the
But back me up to one then. I ain't hear what I want.
And in that day you shall say, O Yahuwah, I will praise you. Though you was angry with me, your anger is turned away, and you comforted me.
See this here? That anger being turned away and that comfort, because he said, I won't leave you comfortless. I give you the Ruach HaKodesh, because when you repent and born of the word, I comfort you, that bring you joy. You should get joy from the aspect that your God was willing to offer himself as a perfect sacrifice without blemish to be received unto the heaven, justified among. Matter of fact, just read 1 Timothy 3 and 16. I ain't saying it properly. 1 Timothy 3 and 16, we come right back to Isaiah 12. Listen to him.
And without controversy, great is the mystery of godliness. Elohim was manifested in the flesh, justified in the Ruach.
There it is, justified in the Ruach, made righteous by the Spirit.
Seen of Malachim, preached unto the Gentiles, believed on in the world, received up into esteem.
That should bring you joy. Because that's what that Isaiah 12 talking about. Come on back to it. You trying to read along, boy? You know how to read, boy? You know how to read, boy? No, because you be in school giving them people a hard time. That's what you be doing. I heard about you, boy. I heard you like to flood toilets, boy. You want to get in the toilet? That's funny to you, boy. Go ahead.
So behold, Elohim is my salvation. I will trust and not be afraid.
Mhm.
For Yahuwah is my strength, my song. He has also become my salvation.
That's right.
Therefore, with joy shall you draw water out of the
There we
wells
go.
of salvation.
Therefore, you should draw waters out of the what?
Wells of salvation.
What he told that woman. You'll never thirst again. Run it for him. John 4:14.
But whosoever drinketh the water that I shall give him shall never thirst. But the water that I shall give him shall be in him a well of water springing up into everlasting life.
So come back to Proverbs 5:15, because I'm trying to set the stage for something. It's really gonna touch a little bit of faith and a few things, but that's cool. Because all this is still dwelling with your wife according to knowledge. You know what I'm saying? He said you should rejoice with the wife of your youth. How do you not have joy and happiness and you married this woman? See, we ain't talking about this stuff. Like, I'm not talking about this American-made stuff they shooting you through the TV, man. You should not be in the house with a woman that makes your heart sad. You know how many people married like that? So now you in America where you talk about how the woman be complaining how she ain't happy. This nigga's miserable out this whole like, dang, I hate this woman. You don't hear stories about women sitting in the driveway. That nigga been sitting out there for an hour. He want to use the bathroom, but he don't want to go in the house. That man got a boo-boo and he just sitting in the car. Look at man. Man, you know, older people tell you it's always good evidence. Well, that nigga came back. That nigga is ruthless gangster this time. You gonna catch a shell if you come to Milwaukee. Oh Lord, that man surely is a sexual degenerate. But nevertheless, yeah, he might have a mental problem. You know what I'm saying? You a little touched. You been touched. But listen, no, it's a lot of dudes like that, man. You know what I'm saying? Because most dudes won't leave. See, a woman be unhappy and she gonna leave. You know what I'm talking about? It could be for the dumbest thing that you could ever think of. She gonna leave. Dudes would be unhappy, but because he said in his mind, I made this commitment, he gonna ride that out, whether he's happy or not. Like I said, man, I seen this reel where a dude was talking about that, and she was like, so you won't leave if you're not happy? He said, why? That's mine. She couldn't understand it. I committed to this. So he did, a lot of women will move off the fact of how she feel in that moment. So if I'm not happy for X amount of days, this not working for me, so I'm going to leave. You know what I'm talking about? But more men will be like, I know I'm not going to be happy sometimes, but that's not the point. This is a commitment that I made, so I'm going to hold fast to that commitment and not let my commitment be based on how I feel for a small period of time. You know what I'm saying? And most women, unfortunately, in this society, they don't commit. See, we're not talking about a nigga how they talking about, so you want us to be like our grandma. 9 times out of 10, your granddaddy ain't had no hoes like that. You know what I'm talking about? I hate when them women be saying that, man, everybody granddaddy wasn't slinging meat like that. That nigga was going to work and coming home. He ain't had time to sling no meat. They were killing him at that factory.
You seen that in fences?
Yeah. They killing him at that factory. This man working 16, 17-hour days. Man, he can't even pay the bills. You think he got the energy to be slinging meat? You might get one every now and then, but he like he around here, he got 2-3 women across town. Man, that man out here ain't that doggone smooth. I don't know why women got this idea that every man walking just got hoes everywhere. He happy just to have steady vagina with you. He like, shoot, that's in. Look at man. Now some dudes say, you know what they say the hardest vagina to get? In-house vagina. That's what the niggas say. That's what they say. That's what them old niggas say. I done heard men say they hope they get some vagina on their birthday from their wife, man. Older dudes who've been married for a while, dudes who've been married 10, 15, 20 years, they tell you, man, in-house vagina, they say that's the hardest vagina to get. That's tough. That's tough. Hold on. Hey, cuz, now one thing you gonna do, little ruthless gangster, man, is you're not gonna disrespect my wife, because now you done cross the line, and now I'm gonna get disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? That's what you're not gonna do. He talking about be careful before you get on your knees, and you gonna be on yours because your dick gonna be in the dirt by that one right there, cuz. So watch your mouth. You know what I'm talking about? Now I'm gonna go ahead in a second. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna block you again. But I'm just letting you know, boy. Don't disrespect my old lady now. I don't play them type of games. I don't care what you say to me. Don't disrespect my old lady though. And I meant that too. I ain't playing with you. Ain't no joking. Ain't no facetiousness. Ain't no none of that. You ain't got to find her at it, stupid nigga. She lived with me. So bring your tender dick behind around here so we can send you back to Milwaukee in a pine box.
Cigarettes, weed.
You say make it, yeah, man. Average dude ain't had that many women like that, man. It's not to say that dudes ain't have because you know they say he had a family across town. A lot of dudes ain't had no family across town. Hell, he want the family he got, much less the one across town. But you know the this thing's about drop to add it. Add these nuts. You know what I'm talking about? But one of the aspects you know if a dude don't want to be around his wife is if he don't ever want to come home. And I ain't talking about not wanting to come home because he chasing his purpose. Because that's different. You know what I'm saying? If he on his purpose and on his grind, that ain't got nothing to do with he don't want to be around you. He has something greater to accomplish. I'm talking about niggas just don't never want. You know what I'm talking about? You know niggas, they don't never want to come home. They find a reason not to come home. You be like, nigga, you ain't finna go home? Man, I think I need to hit the gym and then go to the store and this, that. He don't like his old lady. Because nigga who like his old lady, he don't mind going home. You know what I'm saying? He don't mind going home. But when you don't like her, you don't want to go home. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man.
They drink waters out of your own cistern and running waters out of your own well.
Now, what you think these running waters out of your own well, what you think this can be referring to? Hold on, let me get this goofy nigga out of here before he been done pissed me off talking about all this.
I'm texting him the address to the restaurant.
I can put you in a box right next to the mama. I can get you the same plot. So she can kick you square in your behind while you over there for disrespecting her son. Oh yeah, man. You can go the address 1646 West 45th Street. You know what I'm talking about? You come on around there, man. 1646 West 45th Street, man. New Hope Homes, man. Come on around there, man. Or you can. That's what it is. You know what I'm talking about? He talking about you just messed up. Or you can come around there to 5020 Cleveland Road.
I gave him that address.
Okay, yeah, man. 2600 Reebok Senior, man. Come on through, cuz. One way in and one ain't no way out. Ain't no way out, man. He told me you just messed up. I'm gonna give you time to write it down before I block you. You just messed up now. Oh, Lord, I'll be down there Tuesday. Trust me, I stay around people. Untouchable. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm so untouchable. I bet you is. That's why ain't no woman got hold to you. But hold on, he's going up. You gotta stop pissing people off in Clubhouse. No, there we go. I let him know 1646 West 45th Street, man. Apartment 3B. You can go ahead, Sister Kelly. I'm finna block him right now. I did with entertainment. I'm finna block him right now.
Say Young and Ace sent me here. Huh? When you get to Hilltop, say Young and Ace sent me here.
Yeah, say when you get to Hilltop, say Young and Ace told me to come around here, man, after 6. Hold on, y'all. I'm finna get him out of here.
was the first time?
It was like Star or something. First time.
No, I done blocked him again.
He changed it. So he was Milwaukee Thug yesterday.
He coming back.
Oh, he put another one. So listen, what y'all think that well represents? He said, man, it's diabolical. He is, bro. That boy, that wild. What them wells represents, Genesis chapter 2, verse 14. Run it for him. We ain't even gonna get no poverty today, but it's all good.
Genesis 1 and 11.
Hold on. Genesis 2 and 14.
He's saying the name of the third river is Hiddekel.
We'll make it 10 and 11. 2 and 11, I'm sorry.
Say the name of the first is Pison, that is which compassed the whole land of
Back it
Havilah.
up to 10. I want everything in this.
And the river went out of Eden to water the garden, and from thence it was parted and became into four heads.
Mm-hmm.
The name of the first is Pison, that is which compassed the whole land of Havilah, where there is gold. And the gold of that land is good. There is bdellium and the onyx stone, and the name of the second river is Gihon, the same as that which compassed the whole land of Ethiopia.
Mm-hmm.
And the name of the third river is Hiddekel, that is which goes toward the east of Assyria. And the fourth river is Euphrates.
Mm-hmm.
So Yahuwah Elohim took the man and put him into the garden of Eden to dress it. And
Notice he said, drink waters. He said, let your fountains be dispersed abroad, rivers of waters in the streets. What he told you in Ezekiel 47 and Zechariah 14 that would come out of that fountain. Where would them waters run into? Right in the streets, did it not? So what you're looking at is you're looking at a representation of those living waters that's in the Garden of Eden. Remember Isaiah 51, he told you that he'll make Jerusalem like what? The paradise of God, or the Garden of Eden. So let's look at the next thing. He said, let them be only for yours and not a who? A stranger. So in this instance, this is not talking about excluding the Gentiles, but those, remember what he said about the person who didn't have a wedding garment? Or when he came up there and he said, I know you not, depart from me, you worker of iniquity, you'd be a stranger because you were not born of him. So let's look at the next aspect. He said, let your fountain be what? Now come over here to Zechariah 13. Zechariah 13 and 1. Let's look at this fountain.
in that day there shall be a fountain opened in the house of David unto the inhabitants of Jerusalem for sin and for uncleanness.
Pause. So what is this fountain supposed to do for sin and uncleanliness? To cleanse you, right? That fountain is representative of that grave that he came out of. Remember, because there was the pit, there was no what? Water. But now a fountain has sprung up. Or a mist from the midst of the earth, the water of the ground. Ain't that what it said in Genesis 2? So this is what you're looking at. You're looking at this aspect. And then he said, and rejoice with who? Now, what he told you in Deuteronomy that he mentioned, read me Genesis 1:11 that brother mentioned before we get to that.
And Elohim said, let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, whose seed is in itself upon
Now, that's
the
the
earth.
tree of life in the midst of the garden. That's surrounded by the rivers that's pouring out this living water. You understand? You can read Revelation 22:1 for it. Now, I know this here, right? If Buddy come back with another one, I know full well that has to be a teenage boy. You know what I'm saying? That has to be a teenage boy. That can't be no grown man. And if he is a grown man, he definitely has some type of developmental delay. You know, that's the world we live in. You know, living in the world today, take everything you got. Coming with all this money sure does help a lot. You know about that? You ain't know about that. You know about that? Oh, that's a classic Locks one there, man. They took that jump from Cheers. Because Cheers say, you know, sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name.
You used to watch that?
My mama didn't watch that.
I used to watch that.
She watched all the white people.
It came on when
That's one of the times you got the bar, right?
yeah, basic cable.
But I was on NBC, so when it was on air.
I never watched that. It was
Cheers. Now, when it was on air, it aired on NBC, and it was probably one of the most popular television sitcoms of all time.
I think it's the one.
No, it wasn't a bad show.
I mean,
But I didn't. I mean, when it was, I put it this way: when it was live on air, my mama didn't really watch it, so I ain't look at it. You know what I'm talking about?
I think my
And then once you talking about stuff getting on in syndication, I ain't like this here, bro. He said, "Never imagine 50 Tyson in the chat."
I can't get it.
But yeah. Frasier had a spinoff. Frasier was a spinoff from TV. My mama watched Frasier. She did watch that. But Frasier was a spinoff. Kelsey Grammer's character was one of the people in the bar. And then what it is he moved from Boston to across the country.
Raymond.
Friends was nothing but a white version of Living Single.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't even funny. Because their white humor was trash.
That would seem like that was their.
That's what people say. But the humor was trash. Jerry Seinfeld was real white humor. That was white humor. Friends was just terrible.
That's Lee's favorite.
That's about to comment right now.
That's your favorite show, Lee? I love it. You hung out with a lot of white people? I'm just messing with you. Listen.
Jessica show too.
Jessica like Friends. She from up north. I can see it. That's fine. It works for me. Well, listen. Where we at with it?
Revelation
22 and 1.
Saying he showed me a pure river of water of life, clear as crystal.
You see that?
Proceeding out of the throne of Elohim and of the Lamb.
That's the same thing Zechariah 14 tell you. Now listen, let's come back to Deuteronomy and let's talk about this right here, man. I think it's Deuteronomy 20. Say, oh, look at Jessica, she's shaking her head. Don't do me like that. I don't like Friends. I do not like that show. I watched it 2 times. You talking about that's my favorite show. She gonna get you, Sylvia. Sylvia say you the whole collection. He say stop the cap. He said I was eyewitness. I seen you watching. She said I love Friends. That's what she said. Well, guess what? Now Free got a friend. Lee got a friend watching Buddy. You can watch bad white humor together. Friends. Show my verse at, man. They say she gonna watch Golden Girls. Now I watched Golden Girls as a child. That song was funny. Dang, I'm looking right at this verse, man. Look at Lil Johnny. Golden Girls is a classic. A nigga who's an old man baby would say that. It might be in a different chapter. 24 and 5. Deuteronomy 24 and 5. Listen.
Say, when a man have taken a new wife, he shall not go out to war, neither shall he be charged with any business. He shall be free at home 1 year, and shall cheer up his wife which he have taken.
He'll do what with his wife?
Cheer up his wife.
Tell him what cheer up mean, man. Now, this is referring to Mashiach dwelling with you 4,000 years. That's why he don't fight Gog and Magog and his father do it. Because he's going to be rejoicing with the wife of his youth.
That's a mark to rejoice.
To be glad. You should be able to be rejoice and be glad with your wife, man. And a lot of times people ain't able to rejoice and be glad with each other because you let the trappings of life get in the way and distract you from what's actually important. But come on back to Proverbs chapter 5, man. 5 and 18 one more time.
Let your fountain be Baruch and rejoice with the wife of your youth. The loving hind and pleasant road, let her breast satisfy you at all times. And be ravished what? Always with her love. Tell them what ravished mean, man. That's the end of that. We don't need no more of that. That's your God. To go astray, to err, to lead astray. Get led by.
To be ravished, man. You know what it is to be ravished? Some of y'all been ravished before. You was ravished with hunger. I tried to use it in the terminology you might know. There's children in here. You know, to be ravished is to seize and carry off someone with force. But not all jokes aside, it's intense delight. That's what it means. No, that's what it means, bro. To seize and carry someone off by force. But the other one, no, because read Zechariah 14:1. It say that's what it uses. But it also means to intense delight or in rapture. You know what I'm saying? You could be like Anita Baker and singing "You Caught Up in the Rapture of Love." That's 2 Anita Baker references in one day. We wrote it. Yeah, it's to be overcome with joy. So you should be overcome with joy with your wife. You don't think? Matter of fact, hold on. Go to the Book of Zechariah. The Book of Zechariah. Hold on. Yeah, I ain't talking about for the rabbit part, because he talking about actually physically assaulting, women will be sexually assaulted in that day. But I'm going to something else in Zechariah. Come over here to what, chapter 7? Or it could be 8. I know it's in chapter 8. It's been a minute since we looked at it. Yeah, it is. Give me Zechariah 8:1. Listen to him. What's my favorite show? Shoot, I ain't really got one. I couldn't even say, man, I don't watch TV show like that, man. I just really watch sports. Yeah, but I wouldn't call that a sitcom, if you would. Because I think that's what bro referring to.
Again, the word of Yahuwah of hosts came, saying, thus saith Yahuwah of hosts, I was jealous for Zion with great jealousy, and I was jealous for her with great fury.
Mm-hmm.
Thus saith Yahuwah, I am returning unto Zion, and will dwell in the midst of Jerusalem.
Mm-hmm.
Jerusalem shall be called the city of truth, and the mountain of Yahuwah of hosts, the Kadash mountain.
Listen.
Thus saith Yahuwah of hosts, there shall yet old men and old women dwell in the streets of Jerusalem, and every man with his staff in his hand for very age. And the streets of the city shall be full of boys and girls playing in the streets thereof.
Mm-hmm.
Thus saith Yahuwah of hosts, if it be marvelous in the eyes of the remnant,
will it not be marvelous in my eyes?
In these days should it also be marvelous in my eyes, saith Yahuwah of hosts.
Listen, you don't think it's going to bring rejoicing to him to dwell with his wife and his youth? You don't think the Son of God took heed to this same conversation? Let's come back to, but that's just dealing with joy, man. That's how you dwell with joy, to dwell with your wife according to knowledge. Let's look at the next thing, and we look at one of these fruits of the Spirit, and that's peace. So where do you see examples of Yahuwah bringing peace to individuals in that regard? We've dealt with long suffering already, so we don't have to do that. Allah. You can look at the peace that was brought on the children of Israel when you're dealing with what you call it? With knowing that Pharaoh was going to be defeated and destroyed. I meant more so with Joseph coming out of prison. You know what I'm talking about? You can see that when he caused the land to rest during the time of Solomon, because the land was at peace. You can see the peace that David had with some of his enemies. You know, the covenant in the sky with the bow in the sky. You know what I'm saying? These are the evidence of giving peace in that Greek right here, man. Y'all know what shalom is. We ain't got to go through all that.
That's irene, a state of national tranquility.
You know what it means?
From the rage and havoc of war.
To be exempted from the rage of war. So when you have peace, guess what you exempted from? The ragings of your flesh. Because you would have more. See, now you can look at that when you're talking about the ragings of war, and you would look at what's in Exodus 17 when Yahushua son of Nun was holding up Moses' arms when they was fighting Amalek. or the ragings of war when Samuel cut Agag up after they defeated Amalek should have been utterly wasted, or what you mentioned with Serenity, you know what I'm talking about, and him getting his head cracked. But then you look at Mashiach coming. So when you sit back and you look at it, if you're dwelling with your wife according to knowledge, you should be abating war. There should be no fighting and strife and contention in your household if you're going to dwell with her according to knowledge. So what does that mean? That means you're not going to craft an environment where war would even be permissible to be executed on a regular basis. And go ahead. Yeah, you'd be in a time of peace. But as an aspect of dwelling with your wife according to knowledge, like Yahuwah, did Yahuwah ever come in and cause war? Did he craft an environment that would want Israel to say, let's go to war with our God? Nah, he never did that. Remember what he said in Micah? Read it for him on general principle, 6:1.
Hear you now what Yahuwah saith, arise, contend you before the mountains, and let the hills hear your voice. Hear you, O mountains, Yahuwah's controversy, and you strong foundations of the earth. For Yahuwah have a controversy with his people, and he will plead with his people.
With who?
With his people, and he will plead with Yasharal.
He got a controversy with his people. What is that controversy?
O my people, what have I done unto you?
What have I done to you?
And wherein have I wearied you?
Where I got you tired at? Bear witness.
For I brought you up out of the land of Egypt and redeemed you out of the house of servants. And I sent before you Moses, Aaron, and Miriam. Oh, my people, remember now what Balak, king of Moab, consulted, and what Balaam, the son of Beor, answered.
You know that he brought peace in you in that instance because that man was trying to bring war and he stopped it? Now, again, we talk about on a national scale, but now you got to look at that on a spiritual scale. He said, why is there ragings with wars within you? Ain't that what James said? Let's take a look at it. The Epistle of James, chapter 4, verse 1.
From whence wars and fightings among you, not hence of your lust that war in your members?
Oh, the lust that war where?
In your members.
Listen.
You lust and have not. You kill and desire to have and cannot obtain.
You can't get it.
You fight in war, yet you have not because you ask not.
You ask not.
You ask and receive not because you ask amiss, that you may consume upon your lust.
Come on.
You adulterers and adulteresses, know you not that the friendship of the world is enmity with Elohim? Whosoever therefore will be a friend of the world is the enemy of Elohim. Do you think that the scripture saith in vain, the Ruach that dwell in us lusts to envy? But he give more grace, for he saith, Elohim resist the proud, but give grace unto the humble.
Give grace unto the humble. So listen, the peace that surpasses all understanding, he give you peace to be able to abate the wars that's in your members. Then Paul say, I feel another, get it for him. Romans, man. We're going to talk about it. We'll just talk about it. 20, you tired? You ain't okay. Doris look like she been drinking. You look like you've been drinking spoiled cider, hoping that would get you drunk. Why you did that? You learned that somewhere? I learned it in jail. Get you some apples and some oranges, put them in a bag, drop them with some sugar, with some bread. Got to make sure the bag real tight, put it up under your bed so it stay warm. Am I lying? He know. See, we're gonna make her a bag. He'll say, come on, baby, I got some homemade hooch for you. Shoot, you gotta watch it. Oh, you needed some fruit, some sugar, and some bread.
Like you said, they put it up under their bed.
And just let them cook.
Did you sit?
Why am I sipping?
No, if you're in the free world, you ain't gonna sip nothing like that. You know what I'm talking about? But
they trying to escape from the reality of their life.
But that doesn't smell and taste like alcohol. Definitely smell like alcohol. Oh no. No, because I didn't drink before I came in there, so I wasn't finna come in there and drink.
Definitely a lot stronger.
But I'm talking about it's way stronger. No. Them boys make that jump, man. Them boys, they didn't double cup it because the double cup thing wasn't a thing at that time. The boy had a styrofoam cup, pour him up. That junk smelled like a Budweiser multiplied by 15. Like that junk smelled like straight alcohol. Like, yeah, the boy get them doggone commissary bags about this here big. I'm telling them, boys, save up all the fruit. It's mainly gonna be oranges because they don't get nobody really. Well, they get apples. You know what I'm saying? But it's oranges and apples. Boy, save up all that sugar. They order sugar all commissary. You cuff your bread from off your trays. Break that bread up, drop it in there, drop that sugar in there, man. Hit that hole with a little bit of water. Tie that hole up, man. Put it under your bed. Let it cook. Take about a day or so.
That's why we do cell services. They got too much fruit in they cell.
They already know what time it is. Now some niggas saving fruit because they're home. You know what I'm saying? Hungry. It's real in here. You know what I'm talking about?
You got 20 apples in here.
Yeah, he got 20 apples. He ain't hungry. That's liquor. He finna make it. Them boy finna get drunk.
Come on, so you gonna do that to me?
Yes, I am. You know what I'm saying? He said, how I feel about this making the second passing of the Christ. Shoot, I thought the first one was garbage. But I mean, I don't have no issue with it per se personally. I mean, it's not nothing that I would watch. You know what I'm saying? I happened to see it watching it with my sister, and I was like, yeah, this movie's terrible. But I can see why people, but I was in the Word at that time, but I can see why people were emotionally moved by it. Because if you sit back and you look at a physical representation that was kind of like, you know what I'm saying, didn't really hold no punches on what that man experienced. But people did all that crying, talking about, look what they did to Jesus, and went right home and sinned. So clearly it didn't matter. I haven't seen the Book of Clarence yet. I didn't have a desire to watch it. I might watch it one day. And the main reason why I ain't have a desire to watch it because Jay-Z made it, and I was just like, he ain't finna get no streaming money from me. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I could be wrong for that. Maybe I am, maybe I'm not. But that was my rationale. Sue me. You know what I'm talking about? And that's what the people like to say. No, I'm just climbing. No, I ain't seen it though.
Now, what is that even about? It's about seeing
A dude who trying to portray like he the Lord, trying to draw disciples away after. That's why people thought it was blasphemous, as if it wasn't really people during the Lord's time that was doing exactly what Clarence was doing.
I'm pretty sure somebody was doing something.
Oh, absolutely. It was a black dude. Nah. He was faking miracles and all, because I seen trailers of it before it came out. He said, I would recommend Clarence because it's pretty much Isaiah 29 and 24. It's actually about faith. Read Isaiah 29 and 24.
Say they also that erred in Ruach shall come to understanding, and they that murmur shall learn doctrine.
Oh, so that's probably at the end of it. He probably would teach it wrong and then came to the Lord at the end, if he said that. He probably played it because I heard a lot of people say, I didn't want to see it. It's going to be blasphemous. And then people said it wasn't and all that other stuff. That's what Omar said he believed in the end. Kind of like Simon the sorcerer. That's probably who he was based off of. Simon in Acts 8, who was bewitching the people, and then he heard the apostles preach the word and believed on the back end. You know how the game go. Mm-hmm. You know how the game go, baby. That's how they kick their king. Where we at with it?
Check with the Romans.
Romans what? I don't remember nothing about no Romans. What you?
We have read James on 4.
I don't know. Oh, Romans 7 and 20.
Say now, if I do that I would not, it is no more I that do it, but sin that dwell in me.
Mm-hmm.
I find in a law that when I would do good, evil is present with me. For I delight in the law of Elohim after the inward man.
Mm-hmm.
But I see another law in my members, warring against the law of my
See,
mind.
there's a war in my members that's warring against. So the peace of God ends that war, if you would. Go ahead, listen.
And bringing me into captivity to the law of sin, which is in my members.
Mm-hmm.
O wretched man that I am.
Who would deliver me from the body of this death?
I thank Elohim through Yahushua Mashiach our
That's
Lord.
right.
So then with the mind I myself serve the law of Elohim, but with the flesh the law of sin.
So listen, there's a war going on outside. Ain't nobody safe from. You know what's happening, Civic? You walking with your head down and you're scared to look. because you shook. Because ain't no such thing as halfway crooks. But listen, you got a war going on in your flesh. That flesh is warned against the ruach within you. That's why he say these two things are contrary one to another. Young says blasphemous. That you wouldn't do the things that you would. So when you believe on this man, as the scripture has said, and you have allowed his word to enter into your inward man, remember, because he desired wisdom in your inward parts. That word come in and they give you the strength or the peace to beat that battle, to where your inward man will delight after the law of God, but your flesh will pass away because of the law of sin, because in Adam we all die. So when you see that, you understand that is that you don't come in the house if you dwelling with your wife according to knowledge. And this is not that conversation where be my peace. No, you craft an environment where peace exists. You don't do things to create war. You do things to abate war. Because why would you want to be in the house warring with your old lady? What type of sense that makes? That makes sense to you? It don't make sense to me. So we did long suffering. Give him the definition of gentleness, which I believe is to be kind, which is one of the aspects of love in 1 Corinthians 13.
Christotes, that's moral goodness, integrity, dignity, kindness.
So that's being kind. Now, there's entirely too many places where you can look at it, this man being kind. And whether it would being kind and healing the woman with the issue of blood, being kind for resurrecting people of the dead, being kind to healing the man with the palsy, being kind with healing the blind man. So dwelling with your wife according to knowledge, and the aspect of dwelling with Yahuwah is being kind to your wife. The same way that Yahuwah is kind to us. Remember, he said he's abundant in goodness and truth. Now let's come over here and look at goodness by definition. And if for the kindness aspect, that would be merciful in the Hebrew, because that word would mean love and kindness. And we talked about it, how he said he'll draw you with love and kindness in Jeremiah earlier.
That's uprightness of heart and life, goodness, kindness.
Again, being upright or just, and being upright and just and kind at the same time. And of course, we've been talking about faith. Meekness is humility and self-control. How many times Yahuwah wanted to kill these people and he said, you know what, I ain't gonna do it? How many times, man, they look at, man, remember when Peter said, man, he went to swinging that sword, he said, man, don't you know I can call for 12 legions of Malachim right now, but how else will the scripture be fulfilled? That's self-control. When the people wanted to make the Lord king and he slid up out the way, that's self-control. When the people tried to tempt him and he wouldn't fall for it, that's self-control. When they were asking him for a sign, that's self-control. When Satan came at him and tempted him, that was self-control. Self-control, because he could have came down. But see, individuals don't realize that. See God doing that. No, the word is moving you to do that because you believe it. But when you're dwelling with your wife, you got to have self-control. One of the biggest aspects, this is how you give honor to the weaker vessel by being a godly man and by serving her through godliness. That's the difference of you not being a helpmeet. It's not her job to serve you through godliness. You know what I'm talking about? That's your job. She's not supposed to necessarily do those things to you. You're supposed to exemplify that to her so that she can exemplify that, period. You need your wife. Why would you need your wife to be long-suffering with you? Was she finna beat you up? No, she's not finna, at least I hope not. You know what I'm saying? If she is gonna beat you up, man, you might want to get in the gym. And I ain't talking about no weightlifting gym either, man. I'm talking about hit the heavy bag. I think the worst thing in the world is see a dude get beat up by his old lady. You ever seen a dude get beat up by his old lady? I have. It's a tough thing to see. I ain't even talking about she just like wailing on him. Like I'm talking about she squared up, running, dumbing him up. I said, dang. It is tough. The only thing tougher is to get beat up by a sissy. I seen that too. I don't know, boy. Yeah, that's he is still a man. But that boy getting punched in his back. You know what I'm talking about? Nah, I ain't talking about the pitcher. This nigga the catcher. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying? Well, I mean, maybe because I'm thinking about the environment where I seen that happen at. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty terrible. Because I was in prison and saw that. You can't get beat up by a nigga named Honey Bun and think it's gonna be all gravy, man. I'll never forget that one, that boy. You know what I'm saying? I was at Jefferson Correctional Institution. That nigga said, boy, Honey Bun putting hands on that nigga. Boy, all I seen was this nigga, boo, boo. I said, golly. That nigga wore about 6'2" now. But he wasn't, you know what I'm saying? He had no weight on him. That nigga would beat the brakes off that nigga. I'm talking about clean jabs. Clean jab. Boop, 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 boop. Yeah, it's just an aspect of you got to lick somebody in the face. What happened with you, man? I got in a fight with Honey Bun. Yeah, I'll never forget that one. Because that dunk was funny, man. He beat the brakes off that nigga. It ain't too many things I remember that one, and when y'all had mercy on his soul, I done told that one that before, because it just clicked in my mind. That junk was hilarious. When me and Lil E was in the county, we was at the P farm, and that doggone big nigga walked in there, and they kept calling him for mail, and Lil E was like, Big Mike, Big Mike, they calling him for mail, Big Mike. He said, my name ain't Mike, my name Juicy. We like, nigga, we ain't gonna call you no goddamn Juicy, nigga. Them people just called you Michael on the microphone. They call you no damn Juicy. You got going on. But he was so serious, that nigga had a weave in his hair, bro. That junk was stank. You know what I'm talking about? Man, look here. But that junk was funny because Lil E was like that. You know what I'm saying? He like to clown. You know what I'm saying? I say, Big Mike, Big Mike. They calling for you, Big Mike. That nigga walked over there. My name ain't Mike. My name is Juicy. This nigga was like 6'3", 245 pounds, bro. Big ugly nigga too. You know what I'm talking about? It's a nigga kissing this nigga in the mouth. Kiss that big ugly nigga in the mouth, man. Because this nigga came in here with a wig on, so that means he was portraying a woman before he got here. You know what I'm saying? And guess what? This was 2002. You know what I'm saying? And it was 2002. Yeah. Oh yeah, man, nigga knew that, man. All them niggas used to get caught on Main Street trigger, man. It wasn't number dudes down there, man. Man, most of them niggas who got caught up in that shame, man, and that victim's advocate, man, when they were getting caught at, man, especially all them niggas, them punks on Davis Street, man, that's all them niggas get caught with, man. Nigga always coming down here to my man, I thought that was a woman. Nigga, you knew there was men down there on Davis Street. Nigga, everybody know that. Yeah, man, everybody knew them was men down there on Davis Street talking about you thought that was a woman. Get the hell out of here, man. You know what I'm talking about? Man, them niggas should be coming in the county telling that bold-faced lie, man. Man, you knew what was done. Everybody know that. You ain't even got the beef from over there, nigga. That's just known. You ain't even got to be looking for them. Everybody know, man. Them trannies on Davis Street, man, late night. Over there when we be beating the people out up over there by that Shell station. Man, they be men over there, man. Yeah, they ain't nothing but men over there, man. Do they still even meet the victim's advocate? No, I ain't looked at one in a long time. You know what I'm saying? I done seen a few people I knew in that shame. Damn. For tricking? Oh, he was buying. He wasn't selling. He probably buying. Damn. I wasn't expecting that. Lord have mercy, I wasn't expecting that.
One of the whole thing been watching. Like, nah.
I'm thinking the nigga.
He got the car.
Yeah, the girl who used to braid my hair, she was in there.
Oh, yeah, you told me that.
Yeah, she was in that. What it was about 2009 or 10. Because I remember she said, "I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you, you know what I'm saying? This, that, there, and the third." I'm like, "Nigga, I don't pick up the Vickers Avenue. Nigga, I would have known that if you wouldn't have told me." You know what I'm saying? But she wasn't. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I known her for a long time, so she was like, "I'd rather you hear it from me than hear it from somebody else." Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, man. She was out here. You know what I'm saying? She was in these streets, man. She was doing whatever she felt she needed to do to get some bread. You know what I'm talking about? I was like, dang, that's how you living. That's how you living, man. Better be careful, man. Nigga don't strangle you out this whole. You know what I'm saying? Now that prostitution dangerous now. Nigga crack jokes all you want to though, but shoot, at the end of the day, especially if they freelancing and they out here in them streets like that, that's dangerous, man, because you don't know what this person gonna do when you get round up. Yeah, you mean you got no pimp? Hey, you freelancing, man.
Freelance work for you.
Yeah, you know.
I'm just doing my post.
You know what I'm saying? Because she was doing escort type stuff. You know what I'm saying? Not the real escort type stuff, like you get racks and racks with wealthy men. Yeah, we talking about escort back page type stuff, man. These hood chicks, man. Nobody paying no $1,000 for these hoes, man. These hoes got bullet wounds in their booty. You know what I'm talking about? Somebody doing all that, man. But I'm gonna tell you, that's the difference of when you're dealing with people who been out here. You know what I'm saying? You approach them differently with the word, man. And I can tell you from my personal experience that most people who in the word, they not dealing with people who come from these type of environment. If you recall, because this just came in my mind when I said it with the prostitute, what the Lord told them people. The publicans and the harlots gonna get in before you, because when they heard the word, they repented. You know what I'm saying? And that's a part of the aspect of dwelling with your wife according to knowledge, with the long suffering or the kindness, because all our people ain't right. You know what I'm saying? Everybody ain't righteous. Remember what he told them people? I mentioned it earlier. He said, "I didn't come to heal the who? The whole. I came to heal the sick." That's a part of that's just a part of how to know you pay attention to how he dwelt with his wife and you follow the pattern. Also, this is all of these things talking about literal, tangible examples of how you actually apply or manifest how the fruits of the spirit look. Because that's what the dude asked. And then he was like, all I heard was I. So I hate people who do that, because you're giving esteem to Yahuwah, but you know that you have a part to play. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not going to make you be merciful. You know how we know that? Because when we read that parable with the Levites and the Samaritans, the Levites knew the word, but were they merciful? No. But that Samaritan seen this person and was compassionate and say, I'm going to heal the suffering. That's why he said, who can have compassion on those who are ignorant and out of the way? There's a particular character and mind that you have to work for this man. And it basically boils down to one thing, that you genuinely care about people's well-being, irregardless of their situation and circumstance. And you are seeking to show mercy to people, not just you wicked bastard, condemn. Because see, the dude jumped on there and say, see, y'all always talk about sin, it's because you sinning. When the conversation we talk about is that you can live without it. You know what I'm saying? Why? That's like saying that's like telling somebody on drugs, you'll never stop smoking crack. But if you own drugs, you know what I'm talking about, and you trying to get clean, do you know how discouraging that is? Man, shoot. Oh, bro mentioned the book of Eli. I thought he had a minute of lucidity, but then he went back crazy again. Yeah, I seen that junk. I don't remember though. I think they used to play it on TNT back to back. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't that good of a film to be watching continually. I can tell you that. And that's part. See, films like that is what make people believe in the end times it's going to be Mad Max Thunderdome. Everybody just living like savages. When the book don't say that. Your life is going to continue on as you are accustomed to continue it. It's just going to be a lot more oppressive. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be in an oppressive state because the world's gonna be in chaos. People are like, what you gonna do when the dollar fails and there's a food shortage? That man ain't never said it was gonna be no food shortage. He said there'd be famines in the earth. He said, but that's just the beginning of sorrow. That's light work. You know what I'm talking about? That ain't even what you need to be concerned with. Because he told you that people will be doing what? Getting married. Let's just look at it. Luke 17. We finna stop for the night, man. What time it is? It's 22:57, Civic. You know what that means? Nah, he don't want to answer. Now he don't know what we talking about. Niggas. Luke 17:24.
For as the lightning out of the one part under Shamahim shine unto the other under Shamahim, so shall also the Son of Man be in his day.
Mm-hmm.
But first he must suffer many things and be rejected of this generation.
Mm-hmm.
And as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be also in the days of the Son of Man.
What they did in the days of Noah, sir?
They did eat.
They did what?
They did eat.
So I guess they got food if they eat.
They drank.
If they drank it, that means they're having a doggone good time.
They married wives.
They got, man, look at, man, it's full out pillage and savagery, but you getting married?
They were given in marriage until the day that Noah entered into the ark, and the flood came and destroyed them all.
This is the next thing he say.
Likewise, also it was in the days of Lot.
They did what?
They did eat.
And what else did they do?
Drank.
And they what?
They bought.
Oh, they getting money?
They sold.
My Lord.
They planted. They built.
Oh, they building stuff.
But the same day that Lot went out of Sodom, and rained fire and brimstone from Shamaim and destroyed all.
Listen, you know what this is telling you? In all seriousness and realness, man. When he said that the people would cry over Babylon, what did they say Babylon did for them? Made them rich. Now, how somebody crying about being rich if everybody living in squalor and chaos? How is this man able to give you a mark when you can't buy or sell if everybody around here, you better learn how to make you got to learn how to do this and do that. You niggas waiting for something. This ain't no goddamn movie, cuz. Yeah, you trying to make a full-length production, and guess what? Your life gonna continue the same way it been continuing. You either gonna serve Satan or die. I hope you die, if you understand what I meant, so you can live. Yeah. He said, I always look at Demolition Man, the close. Yeah, I can give you that. That and probably, Minority Report, very oppressive. What, Demolition Man? Yeah, it was a terrible film, but it's watchable at the same time. But it was terrible because it was really a big damn commercial for Taco Bell. No, I'm dead serious. I seen Demolition Man when it came out. This is a Sylvester Stallone and Wesley Snipes movie. They gave Wesley Snipes one of the most trashiest scripts that they could ever give him, and the nigga made it work. Oh, that nigga's phenomenal. That nigga's phenomenal. And I ain't saying that just to say it, because Demolition Man overall as a film is terrible.
They would have put somebody else.
But Wesley Snipes made it work because he's the antagonist. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Sylvester Stallone is a cop. You know what I'm saying in the film. But like I say this because I remember when it came out because it was plugged in with Taco Bell. So they didn't see back then. You had the toy, the cups, the collector stuff. It was all tied in with Taco Bell, and they make sure to let you know that in the film about that Taco Bell as a part of it. You know what I'm saying? There was definitely no doubt about it. You know what I'm saying? You're going to know about Taco Bell. I'm going to say Sylvester Stallone is what made that movie so terrible. Besides the fat chubby white dude who was like gay as hell, he was pretty bad also. No, I ain't gonna lie, he wasn't bad. His acting wasn't bad. His character was a dude. So he did his job. It was Sylvester Stallone. It was Stallone. She was terrible too. They had a lot of bad dialogue, but that nigga Wesley Snipes is a professional because that man did his job, boy. It takes a hell of an actor to make a movie work when they give you a bad script. And they gave him a bad one. That man don't get. See, now he looked like an Asian lesbian, which is unfortunate. You know what I'm saying? He needs to really grow some face hair. You know what I'm talking about? He said, I love gangster movies. They teach you the good and the bad. That's right. Taco Bell was the only restaurant open in Demolition, man. That's all you could get was a soft taco. A double decker. You know what a double decker is? That's the soft taco. That's a taco. That's a soft taco wrapped in a hard taco. No, there ain't no pause because you know what a taco is. I don't know what you pausing for. Hey man, shoot, she don't keep them glutes off. But that's what it is. I don't know what you got going on. You know what I'm saying? You got some people, hey, that loin, hey, they ain't taking. You know what I'm saying? Oh, like, hey, man, you got some women out here glutes, man. I'm talking about hard as doggone nipples out there. Muscle booty, how nobody want that? Yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? She around here, all she doing is glutes. You look at them doggone them bodybuilding women, their bodies ain't soft. But they on steroids also, so there's that. Oh, that made me think y'all wasn't in there, man. That big dude that used to play ball over there, the Baileys, man. Like Dwight know who I'm talking about. Boy, that day we were playing that boy, he said my glutes. Boy, I fell out and said my glutes. Oh, that was funny. No, it was black dude, man. Dwight know who I'm talking about. That boy said my glute. He went to run and he pulled up and fell out. He said my glute. Lord have mercy. Yeah. Oh man, I'm sorry. I ain't got good sense. You know, pray. You know what I'm saying? That's all you actually do. But listen, when you looking at that with Luke. It's not. I'm not saying that life is going to be peachy keen, as white folks like to say, but it's not going to be like you got to go live off in the woods, scourging for food. You got to have all this stuff stored up because now life going to be continuing because Yahuwah want it that way because he wants these people to be able to accumulate their wealth to harden their heart so he can be justified and kill them. But when we look at this last thing, man, in Galatians 5:23, meekness, temperance, against such there is no law. Any man that dwells with his wife according to knowledge and performs these activities, there's no law against these things. And where there's no law, civic, there's no what? There's no transgression. And where there's no transgression, there's no death. So if you abide in these things which are mentioned, which is the byproduct of what's in 1 Corinthians 13, dealing with love, which is the actual exhibition of who Yahuwah is, who Yahusha is, then you will never taste death. You'll never taste it. That's why I said, and guess what? If you dwelling with your wife according to knowledge, how is your prayers going to be hindered when you're doing the things that please God? How your prayers going to be stopped? Why? What would make your prayers be stopped? Because you commit and sin, which means you're not dwelling with your wife properly. So why would he hearken unto your voice? That boy said them bad BBLs in the gym look like diapers. Dang, you really see chicks in your gym with a BBL? I don't know if I ever seen anybody in real life with a BBL, but I don't get out much. They literally look like wisdom teeth. My God. Yeah, I've seen clips. Oh no. I've seen them like on the internet, but I ain't seen none in real life. Like, ho. That boy say we need a Diddy's biopic. I don't want to see no movie about Sean Combs. No, that's what somebody posted. I don't want to see nothing about Sean Combs. But we're going to stop right there, man. Hallelujah for Yahusha in the word. I appreciate y'all time this evening. I bless y'all the house Elohim in the name of Yahusha. I know I can open the clubhouse room, y'all willing, sometime tomorrow. Or this is what I can do. I can open the clubhouse room while I'm in the street. And then if those of you who out of town, if you prefer, I can crank a stream up if that's what you want. Now, if that ain't what you want, then I ain't got to do it. But you're going to have to let that be known that that's what you want. Because if not, I ain't going to do it. He said the home gym full of Hispanics. That but Sean said all the Hispanics in Colombia got the BBLs. Call it BBL dressing. He said they the ones with the bread. Y'all gotta let me know on YouTube now if you want me to. When I get back in, I can cut the stream on. How you gonna say crank that with Soldier Boy when your square head behind supposed to be over here? You already know. You already know. Hey man, but tomorrow, man, everybody meet over here at 1 o'clock. You did? So we can do what we need to do and get on back. I can't tell you what time. I can't tell you what time. I can't say what time. I can just cut it when I'm able. I can just cut it on, but I can't tell you what time. Because I know everybody don't have access to Clubhouse. All right, Tavon. I know everybody don't have access. So I bless y'all the house of Elohim in the name of y'all. I love y'all. Appreciate y'all. You said the Milwaukee boy back? No, he ain't came back. He ain't came back. That's Lil Johnny, man. That's Lil Johnny. He talking about crank that like Soldier Boy. You can't come to Milwaukee. That's Lil Johnny. He always talking about Johnny Harlem. Boy, I ain't seen no Harlem. He don't talk like a nigga from Harlem.
He said, I seen Harlem Nights.
I seen Harlem Nights. I seen a Harlem Shake. He said, take this money. That boy said in that song, the feds can come get me. I ain't scared. People are on my, but y'all willing, man. When I'm able, I'll cut this thing on, man. So you who are willing till then.